Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Live on Neeves Knives. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully all is well. We got the Factor in the house. Holy cow. Still blowing me away. It's insane. Absolutely insane. I've been learning a little bit more about it. Not like learning, but getting the feel of it. Because when I opened it up with you guys, I literally had just opened it up. I had flicked it like twice right before the camera came on. I actually let Kara open it up before me because I wasn't even going to deploy it. I was going to do the first deployment on camera, and she kind of talked me into it. She's like, just try it, just do it, you gotta. And I did. She talked me into it. Absolutely amazing. But I was playing with it like this, like seeing how free flowing it is. Absolutely free flowing. But that magnet, man, it's crazy how well tuned this is with these magnets, and that sound is just so addicting. Anyways, I don't mean to make any of you guys jealous. I know I've been watching videos on it too, on MCs and a couple other channels, and I was skeptical. Let's just say that, a little skeptical, because I know some people, nobody in particular, but they can talk about lots of great things, but maybe not necessarily the bad things. Not saying anybody in particular or anything like that, and I'm not, like, I know you guys right now thinking I'm talking about MC, but I'm not at all. I'm just saying, channels in general, and I mean that they might not talk about bad things that I consider bad, because there's so many times where I'm watching another channel and then I get it and I'm like, man, that is like almost a deal breaker. Like, how didn't I see this problem on any channel yet? But no, this one's definitely one of those good ones. One of the ones that aside from, like the obvious, there's magnets. So yes, it's gonna attract metal dust and metal stuff. So if you work in a place where they drill metal a lot, you're probably not going to want to bring it to work. If carrying an Olight is a problem for you because of the magnets on the back, because it attracts metal dust, this will probably also be a problem for you. But, like I said in the video, get some sticky tape when you take it apart, and just put the sticky part onto the magnet and you can clean it off very easily. I'm just going to keep mine away from metal dust. I'm not going to put it on my sharpening bench when I'm sharpening, but I do the same thing with Olights, like, because there's so many times where, and also my jewels, there's a magnet on the back. So I have to constantly clean these because they attract metal, and I am around metal dust a lot because I sharpen like a nutcase. But how's everybody doing in here? We're going to talk about some new knife releases here in a second as people come in here. Give me 1 second to yell at my wife. Thank you. Let's get this party started. Yeah, I can't see how many people are in here because I don't have the iPad, but we're going to get in here in a second. First time spending over $300 on a knife. Should I get what? Yes. Should you get this? Well, I would, if you got the money for it, I would recommend it to anybody, especially if you really like action. If you appreciate acoustics, action, and innovativeness, is that a word? And knives that are innovative, then absolutely. I would say if you don't get it and you can get it, you're going to regret not getting it. That's what I'll say. Absolutely, you're going to regret not getting it, because there was a knife a good while back called it was by G&G Hawk. I forget the name. It was by Serge Panchico and G&G Hawk, and I had one on the channel, and they only made so many of them, and then after that you couldn't get them no more. And that was one of these, like a knife like this, where you can't get them no more, and they were like $500. But worth every penny, in my opinion, because of how innovative it was. G&G Hawk makes some of the strongest and most innovative, most, name that blank knives. Just amazing, amazing knives. They're the one that did the was it the deadlock or the hawk lock on the OTFs. There's like the strongest lock on an OTF, the one that has no blade play or anything like that. That's super solid. Is, to my knowledge, the only company that's been able to achieve that. And let's just look that knife up really quick, because I did have a video on it, and it was so crazy. G and G Hawk and knife. Let's see if we can find it. Images. Okay, here it is. All right, I'm going to show you guys. So this is like a knife like this one, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why here in 1 second, because I got to show you the picture first.
Oh my gosh.
So here it is right here. Now, this has like a button similar to this, right? Kind of like an access lock, except for it was only on one side. It literally feels very similar to this. Well, closed, it had like a really cool flipper tab. If you ever seen the Pachinko things, it had a flipper tab like a Pachinko knife, like the bean and stuff like that. And it had an amazing detent, amazing action, free-flowing action, really clicky. Before that, like, it was probably the most acoustic, the best acoustics I've heard on a knife before, like, the 80-20 and this thing. So it's one of those knives like this, like where it's like whoever didn't get it is regretting it now, because it is so innovative, so badass, just all of the good stuff. Now here's a picture of the close. You can see the flipper tab, how it's really up high. So you can use it just like a regular flipper. Yeah, baby.
What's behind me? It's behind you, Barb.
Okay, yeah, okay, I got it. So you can see the flipper tab, how it like pokes up. So, but this little scoop behind here, where the flipper tab lands when you pull down, that was super, super satisfying to pull that down. The blade shape, the type of deployment, like it was pretty innovative the way this lock worked. And like I said, it's like a button. So similar to this, it feels very similar to pulling this down, and it just worked so good. So good. And anybody who has one, I mean, it's a prized part of anybody's collection. Hey! Bustin' Nut. Thank you for the 2 bones, Bustin' Nut. Bought 2. You have recommended, not disappointed yet. Oh, man. Awesome. I appreciate that. And it's awesome that you haven't been disappointed. I'm glad I haven't disappointed you yet. And I hope I don't. I really hope I don't. Now there are knives like that, that I really like, right? That I wouldn't necessarily recommend to everybody, but then there's knives I recommend to everybody. And there's always like a price category there, because obviously I can recommend $1,000 knife, but you gotta recommend it to the right guy, right? But then there's knives where it's like, it's in everybody's price range, right? And those knives, you can recommend to anybody. And then there's knives like this where it's going to be out of a lot of people's price range, but if you can afford it, and this is the type of stuff you're into, then without a doubt, like I could absolutely recommend it. And I don't even have to review and test it to say that as of right now. Now, if something comes up, like where I'm reviewing and testing it and something pops up, I'm obviously going to say it, and at that point I will bring it up. But just right off first impressions, it checks a lot of boxes. The one complaint I would say is T6s. I'd rather see T8s, but
Did I give you your jewel?
You did not.
I don't see it on the tree.
It's on my charger.
I know that. It's not there.
Oh, wait, not yet. Yeah, it has to be. Hey, Dennis! Thank you for the 20 bones. I appreciate it, man. That knife is too cool. The use of magnets should be used more often. Keep up the good. Yeah, I'm from Texas and can't help saying y'all. Well, thank you, Dennis, and Yeah, I agree, man. I agree that magnets should be used more often. Now, I do think though that it's not something you can do on all knives because of the magnetic, issue with metal and all that. But it's something that if you like I read this comment in my video that if this was executed on a, I'm not gonna say standard knife, but um on a knife design that is very popular, like a I don't know, like a Gale Bradley type knife or something like that. That's just, or like say a Sabenza type knife. Holy shit, mind blowing! Like it would just be insanity. What's up, baby?
You want hot or iced coffee?
Hot, please.
You sure?
Yes, absolutely,
Okay. Can I bring
absolutely.
this with?
Yeah, we're talking about it
I'll
right
bring
now,
it
but
back.
see how that goes, guys. See how that goes.
Love you. Love you.
Does it sing like Little Richie? Yeah. I was gonna say better, but that's a close one. That's a close one. I got a Kaiser Cyber Blade because it reminds me of that knife. Love the Cyber Blade. What are your top 5 boots you will be checking out at Blade Show? Probably Oz for sure, Oz. I want to say Koenig, but I've tried a bunch of Koenigs, but I do want to check out their booth just to see if they're doing anything different or anything like that. For sure, there's a lot of booths I want to check out because definitely I want to go see a lot of friends. Right, I want to see a lot of people I've never met, things like that. But and I've talked to a lot of them and said, I'll be stopping by. But I really want to see if there's any really good USA made knives coming out this year that are, going to be not necessarily affordable, but good quality, good knives. I want to check out the Spyderco booth, but I already checked. I already know what they got coming, so that's like on the back burner. Things like that. Hogue, want to check out Hogue for sure. But like I said, Oz definitely. Um, Oh man, I honestly don't have it planned out whatsoever. This is my first time, guys. This is my first time, so to me, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's like, which candy are you gonna try first? You know, um, I don't even know what the flavors taste like. So I'm just gonna run in swinging. I do have an early bird special. I'm probably gonna get there really early. And speaking about that, we are gonna talk about that here in just a minute, or we can talk about it right now. So I did watch somebody else's channel. You guys probably already know who I'm talking about. And he talked, he's been a bunch of times and he talked about, make sure you bring water because the bottles of water are going to be insanely priced. Make sure you bring a lightweight backpack to store your water and store maybe the items you buy and things like that in that backpack. So bring something lightweight. I'm going to bring I have an electronics pouch that I bring everywhere. And that has my extra batteries, charging ports, battery packs. I have plugins for literally everything. So if somebody else needs a charger, I can give them literally a charger to leave with. Like, not like leave for good, but like leave for the night and give it back to me the next day or something like that. Um, things like that. So I will definitely have that in my bag. So things like that. And then comfortable shoes. Comfortable shoes, obviously comfortable shoes because you're going to be on your feet for so long. Hey, Ben with the 20 bones. Thank you, man. Glad to be here. Keep it up. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate the 20 bones, man. Holy shit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Theft King says, I wish I could go to Blade Show, man. I've been wishing for so damn long. And I'm going to get to more comments. Let me just get through this thing really quick. Next, like I said, comfortable shoes for sure. Comfortable shoes. I'm going to wear, man, I should have grabbed them to show you guys. I'm probably going to wear, I'm bringing 3 different pairs because I'm not sure if we're going to be going out. I'm going to bring my wings, my Iron Man wings, or Iron Man, my Iron Rangers. I'm gonna bring my Danners, my Bull Run Danners. Those are super comfortable boots. More casual boots. So, and then I'm also going to bring my Thomas and Vine shoes. I'll show you guys a picture in a second. My Thomas and Vine shoes, super comfortable shoes. I'm testing them out. So far they're pretty good quality. $120 for everything on their site is $120, but I'll show you guys a picture here in a second. They're really good quality though. And they look good. And I like shoes, boots / whatever that look good. I want them to be not only durable. These are stitched down too, so technically they could be resold, but you wouldn't resole them because it costs as much as the shoe itself. But the point is that when they're stitched down or they have a 360 stitch, then you're not going to have your boot coming off of the sole. Where you walk around, you're flapping your sole. You don't want that. So that prevents that. So, but anyways, next thing, obviously have a map. You're supposed to have a map. You're supposed to be planned out what tables you're going to go to and all of that. I'm going to have the early bird special, so I'll be able to run around a little bit. I did not get a media pass like a dumbass. I wish I could still get one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll be able to talk to somebody while I'm there. I don't know how that shit works. But what was the next thing? There was one other thing. I forget now. But yeah, so whoever's going though, make sure you are ready. I'm not ready, but I'm gonna try to be. Yeah, it's $375. Wait, is more than I like to spend on a knife. I've only got 4 more expensive knives. I think I'm the same way, man. I don't like to spend $375 on a knife either, unless if it's something special. You guys think I sit around here spending $375 every day. I've been very, very blessed, and I scream that out. That most of my knives that cost over $250 were a gift. That's a fact. I've been very, very blessed by this community, and there's people in this community that have just been so good to me. Thank God for them, because they've been a huge part of this channel's success and why I've been able to provide you guys amazing content and test some of the knives I've tested. Because majority of my knives are under $250. Yes, I've spent more, but not as much as I have, for sure. Excuse me. But I did recently though. I spent quite a bit yesterday. And I'm gonna show you guys what I bought. We're gonna check that out here in a second. I almost wound up spending double, but because I have been getting a little crazy here lately with some of my spending, I gotta slow down. Hey, Mom. There's my mother. Hi, sweetheart. How are you tonight? How is everyone? Hope everyone has a good weekend. Hello. Hi, Mom. How are you doing? Love you and hope all is well. We are going to Atlanta in a couple of days. I guess I should call you and let you know. She doesn't even know about Blade Show. Early bird doesn't always get the worm. Someone lied to you. That is a fact. That is a fact. Yeah. But I'm gonna try. There's a couple knives I thought of in my head that if I get an opportunity to buy, I'm gonna do it, because it's not only a knife I want, but all right, I'll just say it. There's a few knives, more than a few, that are a little bit of an investment. There's not like all knives are an investment, right? But there's a few knives that are a good investment. There's some custom makers out there, and if you get their knives, especially at table cost, you could sell them for more money. Now, some people look down upon that. I'm not one of those guys. I don't care if you bought a Spyderco and sell it for $1,000 tomorrow. I don't give a fuck. I am definitely very capitalist in my beliefs, and if you can get $1,000 for it, good for you. I don't care, because I don't have to buy it. Just because you put a price tag on something doesn't mean I have to buy it. So why would I care, right? I don't even understand how people get upset at that. Like, don't buy it. Who cares? But some people do that. Now, I know some people get mad at scalpers, like where they take advantage of, like, when a Spyderco drops and they buy like a whole bunch of them and then they can't get it, and then they turn around and try to sell them for double the money. I understand that you're mad that they got it before you, but that's where you you got to get on email lists and things like that. If they wouldn't have bought it, somebody else probably would have, right? But I personally don't care. But anyways, there are knives that some people buy and they love, but they have the opportunity later where they could sell them and make a little bit of money. Then there's some where you can make quite a bit of money if you wanted to do that. Then there's some that at the very least you won't lose. All right. You'll be able to at least sell it for what you paid. And those are good investment knives, right? Those are knives they're just a good investment. Considering you didn't fuck it up, considering you didn't break the blade, chip it, or do anything really messed up. Now, most of these knives, like I get a lot of these comments on my shorts and stuff where people will talk about like as if like, oh, you won't use that knife. You'll be too scared to scratch it. And it's like, I don't even understand that. Like, do they not realize that we have modders in this community where if you did something to your knife, you could send it in and get it tuned right up? I don't care if it's a scratch on the blade or if you scratch the finish. Like, the only thing that could really happen to your knife to the point to where you've ruined it or really messed it up is if you broke your blade. And in many times you could just send it to the company and they'll do a reblade for so much money. So I don't know about the really, really expensive ones, how that would work if you broke the blade, but what are you doing?
Have you tried that yet?
Nope.
With the magnet knife? Open it with this pulled down.
Well, now it's not going to be engaged.
Wait a minute. It still works.
Well, yeah, it engaged.
I know, but like if you hold it.
Yeah, if you hold it down, yeah.
Wham, wham.
Because it's not engaged.
I like it though. It's fun, man. This is like
you're gonna hurt yourself.
This is like the ultimate fidget toy for a knife. Like if you're into knives purely for the fidge.
For the fidge.
This is that. Really? You just gonna steal that?
Is this one not mine?
No.
Oh. For the fidge.
That fidge though.
Yes, the Norseman is made in Canada. Yes, it is.
Hello, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
I will never be famous, only infamous. You are infamous, Maurice. You are infamous.
I sure did.
And don't downplay yourself, Maurice. You are famous here, my friend. You are famous here. I'm a little low on the camera, ain't I? I need to straighten up. I think it says skanking my shit. I appreciate the coffee though, baby. Thank you.
It's really good. Have you tried it yet?
I took a sip. They are dropping a second run at the same time, just later delivery date. You have to save money for those sweet Blade Show drops. Yeah, you definitely do. Not talking about Blade Show, but knives, you have the ability now where you don't have to pay for it all at once. You can make 4 payments on it and you get it. It takes longer to get, but you can just make quarterly payments.
I was always told by a financial advisor that
if you have to make payments, you can't afford it.
Or something like that. If you have to make payments on like something less than like $3,000 or something like that, I can't remember what it was, then you can't afford it. There's like a little math equation you do to figure out like if you can or cannot.
I would say in most cases, if you can't, if you have to make payments and you most likely can't afford it. Now, if you're just making payments just because you don't want to spend the money right then, you don't mind waiting, then I don't really care.
As long as it's interest free, who gives a shit?
Right.
It's that interest.
Better slow down. Right. Blades and fades. Thank you. I appreciate that because yeah, definitely. And shout out to Blades and Fades. Go and check out his channel as well. Awesome channel. Maurice is famous in a little group, and that's enough. Facts. My boyfriend got pulled for a Grimsmo Rasta. That's amazing. Good for him. That's another one, man. That's definitely a knife that not only you can be proud of, but that's an investment knife. That's something that holds its value very well. Incredible knife. I wish the Grimsmos would make more knives. Did I miss a Donny? Oh, I did. Canuck with the 10 bones. Thank you, man. I seen you sported a Band-Aid in one of your vids, more like 30-40% of my vids. The $5 should cover the shipping when Bees send you the next Band-Aid. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. 10 bones. And yeah, I do sport Band-Aids often, and it's not just for looks, you know. It's not just excuse me. Ugh. It's not just to for the wardrobe, you know what I mean? It's Yes, I get cut a lot. You know, when you play with knives, you get cut. And when you work with knives every day, all day, you're going to get cut more. Most of them are, nothings. Like my thumb one, I got that one the other day. That was from the tulip. You guys can't even see it because it's almost healed already. But it was a little sucker when I got it, though, because when I went to deploy the knife, it got stuck in my thumb and deployed like into my thumb and cut a little vein right there. So it was a little gusher, but it healed up pretty quick. And I knew it was just like, a little flesh wound or whatever, but you get them. You definitely get them. Is there a limit? And when do we know the number of how many being made? Oh, we're talking about this little guy. Normally there is. So normally what'll happen is like they'll make 300 their first run. If that first run does really, really good, they'll make 350 more or something like that. They usually base it off of like how fast they sell out, all different types of factors. And also how many the company is able to make in a specific amount of time. Whatever. I've never had to do it, but that's the way I figure it goes. So yeah, there's usually so many that are made. And then, sometimes it's just however many pre-orders come in, they make that many, so, but they usually have to fill so many in order to do it. So like say they have to at least do 300, but yeah, if you want to get it, pre-order it, because otherwise, like if you're just going to wait for them to drop, you're most likely going to miss out. You got a chance still, but it's a bad chance, because what'll happen is you won't pre-order it. It'll drop. There'll be, say, 100 available, and they will go faster than you can wake up to get them. Serious question for my next purchase: PM2 or 940? PM2. I love the 940. I have one. Fantastic knife, but a PM2, in my opinion, is way more versatile. So a 940 is tough. It's really tough. It's slim and tough. And that's kind of the beauty of it. It's kind of like a cutting pry bar in a way. It's slim, long, stabby, pokey, and it cuts. You can lay back the angle on it and make it pretty slicey. However, it's still, the geometry is very thick. So that's why the tip is so strong on it. So it's really good for poking. Now, the opposite for the PM2. The PM2 is not a pry bar. It is not nothing you can pry with. You can poke with it, but you're not going to want to pry with it. And you can definitely break your tip on it. But the benefits of it being like that make it slicey. So one's slicey, one's pokey, but pokey in a different way, meaning like the tip's durable. So the Spyderco is definitely more pokey, as in penetration, but the Spyderco is just more versatile. You're gonna be happier with it. That's the thing. Don't get me wrong. The 940 is fantastic and it's such a good knife. If you don't appreciate geometry, then go with the 940. Like if you don't ever make any long cuts or slices through any type of dense objects, and you literally only like cut, just stuff that doesn't really matter with geometry, then go with the 940. But the PM2, in my opinion, is just a better knife. And knife meaning cutting utensil. I love the blade shape. I like the blade shape on the 940 too, and we're going to speak about crew wear here in a minute. But yeah, that's what I would go with if I was you. Put it this way, I have 2 of these now. I only have one 940, so put it that way. Now the 940 though, you can, if you break the blade, you can get a new blade for like $20. There are lots of scales you can get. Same thing with the PM2. So there's you can change it up and make it your own and stuff. Same thing with the PM2 though. Gotta stay on your toes in this game. Yes, you do. There are better things to make money off than knives, unless you live in China. Well, of course there are. Of course. You shouldn't. I'm not telling people to make money off of knives. I'm saying that if you're in this you know, where you buy hundreds of knives a year or countless knives a year, you like having the ability to have a little leverage with some of your purchases. So it's like saying like, okay, this is my point. I'm not saying you sell it. I'm saying you have resale value. So it's like, say if I buy this knife, right? What can I trade this knife for? Not much, right? Because once I buy it, the value goes down. It's not worth that much in the beginning. But now, say something like this, I can trade this for a lot. And this isn't even very expensive, but it's USA made. They're hard to get. The TRM Shadow. How many of you want to trade for this right now? I guarantee I'll have 100 people raise their fucking hands wanting to trade for this right now. Right? It's wanted. It's hard to get. It's it's a badass knife. So like there's just some of those knives in the community that you have leverage with. You can trade, you can sell, you can trade for double, even extra things, because people will respect it. People will know, like, I understand it's only $300 or $380, I think, or something like that. But they're hard to get. And I know you don't want to get rid of it, so I'll give you $50 extra since they're so hard to get, something like that. Or they'll trade you for like a knife that's worth $50 to $100 more that might be easier to get. You know what I mean? Like, anyways. Mock the clown with the 2 bones. His toe hurts. Well, don't drop stuff on it, man. Thank you for the 2 bones, though. I appreciate it, man. I feel like the blanket on my bed should just be one giant band-aid. There you go. That'd be badass. Just have like the print of like just a giant band-aid. Kara's got a badass shirt. She just got, it's got like a like the heart monitor thing, but it goes into knives. It goes knife, knife, knife. Yeah, come and show them. We were gonna do an Instagram post, but fuck. Well, we talked about it earlier, baby. That's what she said. Says just play on your name. Seems logical why they would make payments in the sword department. Is Bees in here? Bees, what's up, Bees Blades? Shout out to Bees Blades and Hive. Definitely go and follow his channel as well. My mom says, hey. Kara says, hi. What? Yes, you did. It's just like that. Yes, it was. Do you say hi yourself when you get here? Jared got that mini roach coming in mail on Tuesday. Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Miss you.
Oh shit. Sorry. So you're gonna show them? All right.
No,
so
you do it.
all right. So here is the shirt.
You gotta go close.
I'm going to. I can't see the screen though.
It's so cool.
Pretty dope.
They make men's ones.
They make men's ones.
Amazon.
But yeah, what's cool about this one is you can remove the flipper tab off of this, so you can make it where it's just a reverse flicker, and the detent is so good on this. But I don't want to take my flipper off. I have 2 of them, so I'm probably going to take one off of one of them. But the flipper is so good on this. The jimping is perfect. The shape of the flipper, if you guys know the big one, the big roach, it's similar, but where you don't go over the top like this. So you don't go like this. In my opinion, you go from the back and kind of just drag straight down like that. And it works great. You do the same thing with this one, where you just lay your finger down and go like that. It works great. You can go over the top, but it feels so much better to just kind of do it like that. Anyways, fantastic detent. The grind is so sick on this thing. Super deep hollow, spear point blade, nice wedge. Fucking great knife, man. Great knife. And affordable.
Naughty Ham says, I've been watching through all your videos to find my first blade and which I like the most.
What is it?
That's awesome. What's up, Alex?
What's up, Alex? What's up, Alex? You don't know yet? Yeah, look through. Listen, if you're going to watch, you can watch through my old ones, but remember, like the old ones are old videos. So
I said all, not old.
I know.
I'm sorry.
That's why I'm talking about the old ones. So the newer videos, there's going to be knives that beat other knives, right? That might not have came up yet in old videos. So Mox Clown with the 5 bones again. Hey, Jared, I've been trying to get a hold of you regarding your car's extended warranty. You and fucking 10 other people. I don't even got a car. Fucker's trying to give me on my insurance and all kinds of shit. I think it's hilarious. Sometimes I just want to talk to him. Like, really? You don't say.
I got one
Let's talk about this for a little while.
I got one the other day. It was a text message one, and they said that my Citibank account had been frozen, and that I needed to call them. I'm like, oh yeah, that Citibank account that I don't have.
Right.
I think you got something on your lip.
My lip? Don't worry about it.
I think I'm just seeing shit.
Steve's in the house with the 2 bones. Who's getting white girl wasted with me a blade? I'll be there for sure. Thank you for the 2 bones, Steve. Shout out to Super Steel Steve. We're gonna be meeting up here in just a few days. Fucking few days from now, we're gonna be getting her done, son. Yeah, it's gonna be such a good time. I am overwhelmingly excited because first one, and man, I've wanted to go for the past few years, so it's gonna be badass for sure. Joel says you're spot on, but most people don't know their head from their behind when it comes to knives. You can make money off the enthusiasts. That's true. But that's also why it's not something that most people can do, right? The people that I know that do make money off of it, it wouldn't matter like to anybody in here because nobody's going to spend the amount of money of the knives that they sell. Right, like I'm talking about full-blown customs that are thousands of dollars, but they make a lot of money off of them because they can buy them from the maker at maker cost, and then their secondary value goes way up because there's only 10 of them made or something like that, and they can sell them, for a couple $1,000s, even though they paid $1,000 or even more. Like I know people that have made thousands of dollars off of some of the knives. Now, is that typical? No, of course not. But when you know the makers or, you buy lots of knives from them, you have a little bit more pull with them because you spend money with them every year, multiple times a year. You're definitely going to have more pull than a guy who's never bought a knife from them. Right. And it's not like that's necessarily a negative thing. It's just the way it goes, right? Like if you have a relationship with somebody, over a fucking 10-year span, right? You're going to be able to get the knives maybe not necessarily cheaper than anybody else, but you might be able to get it faster, right? Or maybe have to make sure you're on the books or something like that. There's friends in this community for sure. Now, does that mean you won't be able to get yourself one? No, of course not. You definitely can, but it's just getting on their books and making sure you got a spot and getting it. And that can be tough because if there's only 20 spots, but there's 500 people wanting a spot. Think about that. 20 spots, 500 people want a spot. Only 20 people are getting it. That leaves 480 people still wanting one of those knives. You know what I mean? So, but I don't do that. To be honest, I've never made a penny on a knife, not once. I've never sold a knife, and I've traded knives, and I think I got the better deal once or twice. But most of the time, like it's just equal value. Sometimes I'll lose out, or whatever. So I've never made a dime off selling a knife. I could, but I just don't. Like even the knives that companies send me, I still have never sold one. Still, I'm gonna I just haven't yet. I wind up giving them all away. But I will eventually because those are still an investment towards the channel for me to buy more knives to put back into the channel. It's all an investment for me, so it's different. But even the giveaways I do, they cost a lot. I give away a lot, like so much. So in order for me to keep giving away, that to me is still part of the investment. So, which I love. I love doing it. So, speaking of that, we have the 150K, man. We past 150K, past Nick Shabazz. Shout out to Nick Shabazz. And we do have the Patreon giveaway coming up here really soon. I got to give away something really nice. I'm still thinking about what I should give away. I want to give away something really nice. I thought about just waiting and grabbing something from Blade Show and giving it to the Patreon members. So that's probably what's going to happen. Because if I do the giveaway before, obviously I can't pick up something from Blade Show. Now, what's up, baby?
I'm sorry, I have an important question for myself.
Is it very important?
It is. I need help. Do you have that? You know the cord that has a little thing you can pop off the USB to turn it into another one?
To my electronics bag.
Does that have all different cords attached to it?
Yes.
Okay. I also came for coffee.
See, my electronics bag comes in handy. You guys should get one of these. I'm telling you.
It's really nice.
If you guys don't have one of these, get one. It's like one of my most used things in my backpack. It was just an electronics pouch where I put all my electronics. So no matter where I go, as long as I have that bag, I have everything I need electronics wise. Meaning like every port, every cord, every plug-in,
Neeves cords,
battery packs, just everything. What's your favorite Ernest movie? Ernest Scared Stupid. Naughty Ham. What do you? Oh,
it's over here.
It's in my bag. The black pouch inside my backpack. I watched an older video where you and Kara was giving Gonzo's hell. It was awesome. Bang. The older videos, you guys always got to put into perspective too. You change over time. Your perspective changes. You get more experience. You get more under your belt. So I even Sharpening, right? There's a video out there. I'm not going to take it down because 90% of it's good information, but there's about 10% that if I had I'm going to redo the video, but when I do it, I'm changing that information because it's not that it was wrong. It's just I have a different perspective now, and my opinion has changed on those steels or the type of edges I'd put on it or whatever. So your perspective changes over time the more you get under your belt. So let's get to the next thing I want to talk about. So first off, really quick, shout out to Hawaii Knife and Gear. He sent me another little multi-tool. Well, it's a double knife. This is a money clip with koa wood. He is doing amazing work with the koa wood. This stuff, look at this. Watch when I just turn it a little bit. What the hell is this? It plays with the light. It really plays with the light. See, it almost has like a tiger stripe pattern, but this is a little money clip, and then it's got two little blades in it. But sent me this badass. Thank you to Hawaii Knife and Gear. Go and follow his channel. He's making more and more stuff, and he's I'm not sure if he's putting full-time effort into it yet, but he's putting a lot more effort into his craft, which is with koa wood. So he has koa wood. He lives in Hawaii, and the koa wood exclusively grows on his island, Hawaii, and it's you don't see it in a lot of places. It's not only expensive, but it only grows there. At least that type of koa. So he's making stuff, making scales and different things. That's what my brass knuckles are made out of, is koa wood, and it's badass. So I feel like I got ripped off just now. I'm joking. But yeah, shout out to Hawaii Knife and Gear. Follow his channel. Next. Crew wear. I want to talk a little bit about crew wear. But before we talk about crew wear, I do want to talk about my new USA made belt from Hanks. So I got this because, I told you guys I'm trying to get as much USA made stuff on the channel as possible, as much as I possibly can. And this year I've reached out to hundreds of companies, literally. How many answer me back? About 0.25%. Let's just put it that way. Doesn't matter though. So I wound up getting a Hanks belt. This is supposed to be the 100-year belt, a belt that lasts 100 years. I did get a friend in the community that did make me a custom made belt, and I appreciate it. But the thing is, so like, and I love it. I still have it. I can't recommend it to anybody, right? I can't recommend it. I can't test it. I can't, it's not like I can link these or anything like that, but I like to be able to test products for people and tell them whether or not it's a good product. And I can't do that with that. All right. Because he custom makes it. He doesn't make them, constantly. So they make all different kinds. So this is an awesome, awesome belt. Full grain leather. They're called the 100-year belt. This one's the Canyon, made in the USA. And it's called the 100-year belt because it's supposed to last 100 years. If anything happens to it, they'll replace it. So that's awesome. And you can really feel and tell the construction on these. I almost got the other one, which has double stitching all the way around. Now, it doesn't really need double stitching. The stitching is only holding the leather together, and it's glued already, most likely. I'm not sure if there's even two pieces here. It just might be one solid piece. It might be just for looks. Ugh. Yeah, actually, this is only one solid piece of leather. So really, the stitching is only for looks. But they have the one with the double stitching. It looks really good. But I almost thought like it might look too much like a cowboy belt. Anyways, love this belt. This one's the Canyon. I think this one was $100. They got them anywhere from $60 up to like $180. So they do get expensive for certain ones, but they have gun belts. So belts that are, this is would be considered somewhat of a gun belt. 2 inches, nice and thick. They're robust. They can hold weight on them, right? But then they even have like casual belts for like $60. Still extremely well made, and they're still a 100-year belt. So awesome, awesome company. I'm loving it so far. It came really fast, y'all. I was surprised how fast it came. And they custom fit them to you. You pick out your size. Obviously, you pick out your size. What I mean is they have you measure from here, from right here on your belt, the belt you're wearing right now, from here to the center of the notch you wear your current belt. And then they make this belt to fit perfectly so that you'll use it, so that you won't have too long of a tail when you wear it. So, which I thought was really cool. And when I got it, perfectly fit. So awesome, awesome belt. Next thing, before we get to crew wear, we're about to get to crew wear, guys. Don't worry. Tale of Knives. You guys know I've been testing this out since like February. I'm still loving it. I wear it every single day. It has broken in very nicely. As you can see, the blue stitch, and one of my worries was I thought maybe the blue stitch would like start getting dirty and wear out. It's still looking good. It's not as bright as it was. It does have a blue knife in there, so that might be bringing out the blue a little bit. But the blue stitching, I'm loving the color of the leather. The leather is so thick and nice. Now, right here along the edge, yes, because of shitty clips, you can see it's starting to get a little wore right there. But that's just the effect from shitty clips, right? That would be my jeans otherwise, which I just bought a brand new pair of jeans and I already got the seam of the pocket fucked up. I've worn like 5 times. It actually pisses me off. But that's just the cause and effect of shitty clips. That's why I'm about done with shitty clips. Company sends me a knife or I buy a knife with a shitty clip, I'm about to just say, just go crazy. Because in 2022, are we really still having issues with fucking clips? Which sometimes it's not even the clip's fault. Sometimes it's just the texture of the knife, which I have a problem right now with my new crew wear knife that we're going to get into. But anyways, Tale of Knives, absolutely recommend these. USA made. You can custom order them. You can get them any setup you want. You can get different types of versions. Like you can get this type where you have the belt loop go through this way, and then there's clip-ons. There's all different ones. These are awesome, extremely, extremely well made. I can't express that enough. My other one that I had, the cheap knockoff one, doesn't even compare a little bit to that. Mostly folders and a bit of everything with the 5 bones. How about a power tool minute? I've got a Ryobi 40V, an 18 volt. I've got a Milwaukee M12, and I just got a Makita 18. Dude, that is awesome, man. Good for you on the tools, and thank you for the 5 bones to express your tools. Yeah, dude, tools are very important, man. I think obviously having good quality tools in your garage or, wherever is super important. Good quality tools are always going to be something that, it makes it to where you can make easy work out of hard shit. And it makes it to where, obviously, right? Like with the things that can be very, very difficult for some are super easy for others. If you just have the right tool, you take a job that would take you a week and you can do it in 10 minutes, so good quality tools, man. They're so important. And speaking about my Crewware knife, got this from Knife Sergeant. Shout out to Knife Sergeant. Go and follow his channel as well. He sold me this is a Blade HQ exclusive with the aluminum scales, which this is flat. I know it looks round. I thought it was round, but it's not. It is flat. It just has an illusion. These are badass, though. I love the scales, but they're a little grippy. I'm going to take the clip because he did replace the clip with an aftermarket clip. I like the clip, but I'm going to have to bend it a little bit. It's a little tight on top of this surface, which is kind of like a file. Not a problem. I'll just bend it a little bit, make it a little loose. But Crewware, he replaced the blade with a Crewware blade. And I got shit all over it. So let's talk about some Crewware. What is so good about Crewware? So I love Crewware. One thing about Crewware is it's very easy to sharpen. The way it holds its edge and its wear-resistant capabilities, in theory, it should be harder to sharpen than it is, but it sharpens up super easy, and you can get an incredibly sharp edge. It's one of those steels that takes an incredibly sharp edge. The reason why I love my K390 so much. K390, it's such a high wear-resistant steel, and it just takes an insanely sharp edge, and it holds an edge for so long. Crewware is a steel that takes that nasty sharp edge, but one of the biggest beauties of it, shout out to Talika. He's actually the one who got me my Tale of Knives for my birthday, man. Shout out to Talika with the BGM Crewware, or no Crewware. Well, we're dealing with the no Crewware from Spyderco, because Spyderco, in my opinion, does the best Crewware you can get production-wise. But yes, thank you, Talika, for the 2 bones. I do appreciate it. But yes, Spyderco steels, period. If you're going to deal with, if you want to feel, I always say this and I keep saying it. I've said it for, I don't even know how long. If you want to feel good quality heat treats from a production company, Spyderco. That's the best way to go. You're going to get the best quality heat treats you can think of or you can get from a production company. Obviously, if you go to a custom BGM or something like that, that's a different story, right? That's custom heat treats. Yes, their shit's always going to be superior. But production-wise, Crewware from Spyderco is done very well. I think it can go up to 65 HRC is what it can peak out at. But it's a tough steel. It has good edge retention. Its edge retention is, so they say it's like the equivalent of S35, S30V. I personally think it's a little bit better. That's just my opinion. I think it's a little bit better. I always feel like it lasts a little longer, but that's just my opinion. Now, maybe with Spyderco's S30V, it's right there with it, but 90% of all the other S30V I test, Crewware seems to be a little bit better. Now, I haven't had any of my own Crewware. I've tested a bunch of other people's, and I've had tons in for sharpening and everything else, but this is my first of my own. So now I'm going to get maybe a little bit different perspective, right? But I already knew I loved it. I've been wanting some for a while, and I just never pulled the trigger because I always had somebody else's too. So I'll be honest, I was a little spoiled in that area. I always had somebody else's shit. But once I ran out, I had to get my own. Anyways, the one thing I love about it so much, and this is why I wanted it so bad, this is right here. This is the reason why. All the other shit can go out the window. is because of its fine edge holding capabilities. So you guys know I always talk about edge bite, right? Bite from an edge. You know, that nasty sharpness when you're fresh off a stone and it just snags your skin when you touch it. That hair popping sharpness. Well, crew wear has the ability to hold a fine edge longer than most, right? Where some steels, like say Maximate, right? Maximate holds an edge for like a long fucking time, right? Like a very, very long time, but it doesn't hold a fine edge. It holds a working edge. So you'll put an edge on Maximate and it'll be very, very sharp. But once you start using it, it instantly goes down pretty quickly, not instantly, but quickly goes down to a working edge. Now that working edge will last forever, you know, but that ridiculous razor sharpness that's just like fuck that sharp, that goes away pretty quick, and you just have that working edge that lasts for a long time. So like for somebody who's maybe using it for a work knife or something, that's great, you know. But if you really appreciate that fine edge, crew wear, man, it holds it for a good long time, and you can strap it back very nicely. It does strap back really good, and you know, yeah, that's the reason why I love it so much. So it's not going to be the most longest edge retention or anything like that. Like I said, similar to S30V, but it has the ability to take such a keen edge. It's a tough steel. No, it's not very corrosion resistant. It's like people call it like a semi-stainless, but it's going to be okay. Keep it oiled, keep it cleaner than what I'm doing with mine, and you'll be okay. Clean, oiled, you'll be all right. Next, what were we going to talk about? Oh yeah, we were going to talk about something else. Okay, so now scent of the day. Let's talk about scent of the day. I skipped it the last time. Scent of the day. Scent of the day. We have actually two scents. We're going to do two, but it's kind of from the same brand. So we have Versace Signature. Oh, and shout out to the guy who did take my recommendation and bought one of the colognes I recommended, and he bought a good one too. That cologne's really good. I hope he really likes it. I know the ladies in his life will definitely like it because that is a very complimented cologne. So today we have Versace Signature, really good shit. And then we have one more Versace, the Versace, Dylan Blue, Versace Dylan Blue. Now, both of these are really good. Both of them. I think I like the Dylan Blue a little bit more, or at least right now. So let's just go over them both. This will be really quick. I know some of you guys don't really like the cologne stuff. So this one is the Signature. I wrote Signature down there at the bottom, so I didn't forget. So this one has a citrus, fresh. It has a little bit of a spicy. It's definitely got a citrus flavor right over the top. And then it has a little bit of a rose scent to it, like a little bit of a floral. And then somewhat of a woodsy flavor right at the bottom. So like that'll be something that'll like last like over time. Like that's like the bottom. So like when it's all wearing off, you'll have a little bit of that fresh woody smell. But anyway, citrus, floral, a little bit of fresh spice, and rose scent to it. Now, it's really good. And when I say roses, I'm not talking about like a bed of roses, right? I'm talking about like you'll have like a hint of it. Like it'll just smack you just a little bit while you're getting that citrus flavor and all those other flavors. When you're mixing those flavors together, that's when those like little rose flavors can smell good on a man. Otherwise, it does not. Let's just be clear. So this next one, the one I think is a little bit better. This one is the Dylan Blue. The Versace Dylan Blue. This one has a earthy green scent on top. It's like a woodsy flavor on top, and that is going to be from the patchouli. The patchouli. Patchouli is like it's a plant that does grow flowers. Kind of a minty plant or some shit, but that's where that woodsy smell is going to come off of, and it's got an aquatic smell. definitely it can go good all year round, but the summer's really good with it. Citrus, it has citrus in it. And then bergamot. Bergamot is a it's an orange. It's a type of orange. I've never had it as a fruit, but it's some type of orange. It looks kind of like a lime or like a lemon. That's where the citrus comes from, but very fucking good. Really, really good, this one. It has you get a spice right off the bat. Spice on top, and then you get that woodsy aquatic citrus smell. Really good shit right here. Yeah, that stuff's really, really good. You don't want to blow it in your face like I just did, but yeah, man, this stuff's good. Really, really good. And you know what I'll do to Kara though? I'll take and I'll put some of these, like I'll put one on a piece of paper or on one side of my arm, put one on the other, and then I'll go and make her tell me which one she likes better. I do that. Sometimes women's opinions change day to day, I've noticed. But it's real. But I like to do that though, just to to see like what I like versus what she likes. Damn it, that shit smells good. Wow. Patchouli for hippies. I've never had patchouli, the patchouli, or not patchouli, the bergamot. That's that orange, the bergamot orange. Patchouli, yeah, it's like a plant. I had to look it up, to be honest. Like I didn't know what patchouli was, but it's a plant that grows flowers, but it's used in aromatic things. So it has a woodsy smell. So that's the scent it has. It's like a minty plant or some shit. Well, when you look it up, it says that it's in the mint plant family. So it's not that it's minty, but that's the type of plant family it's in. But so it has a woodsy smell. So that's where the wood comes in over the top. You do that with your wife too? I like doing that because, one, I get an idea of what she really likes. And, obviously I can wear something she really likes, but I already know she's going to like the smells I get. Now, if there's one that she absolutely is like, I don't like that, then fuck, I'm not wearing it. But also, though, it gives me a good idea of what smells good and what doesn't. Now, you guys want a really, really good one? I'll pull this one out. And then I'm done. But, hey, Bama's in the house. Bama Knife Guy. What's up? I do. Yeah, I have. I got some of that shit. Yes, I do. I have a bottle of Sauvage. Sauvage is very good. There's like, I would say 10. There's like 10 colognes you just can't go wrong with. Like they're just like the perfect colognes. And I think every guy should have like 5, because you don't want to have the same scent every day, all day, no matter what. Not saying you can't just have one at a time, but switch it up a little bit. Even if you have like 3, you can switch them up, but because you don't always have to wear it, you can just, come fresh out of the shower, you can wear your deodorant, things like that. But anyways, I only have a little tiny bit of it. This shit's so expensive. But it's I got it because I watched like 5 videos where they tested this versus a couple other colognes that I really like. So I already knew I liked those ones, and they are like very complimented scents. And every one, this thing would win hands down. Like 5-1, 10-1, it would win. And so I was like, all right, I got to try it. I got to see what it's like. And I got some, but damn it, it's expensive. So I just got a little tiny tester bottle. And that's what I always tell you guys. If you guys are curious about one of these smells that I'm saying, I told you guys can just get a little, just one of these little spray bottles full for a couple dollars and see if you like it. And if you don't like it, and I always recommend spray it on yourself. The smell of it in the air is way different than what it's going to be on yourself. Anyways, this is YSL. YSL. Expensive, but very, very good. And ladies seem to love it. I even asked Kara, and like I even did like the test thing with her, and she picked this one too. just like they did on all the videos. It's a really clean, I don't want to spray too much of it, but it's a really clean, fresh scent. Almost not, I don't want to say deodorant because I don't want to get you the wrong idea, but it does have a really fresh scent like that, fresh out of the shower, aquatic. I'd have to look up the notes, but it does have like a citrus, a real high citrus, almost like a grapefruit, a fruity citrus scent. That smells really good. There is some type of, it smells like there's something woodsy at the bottom of it, but I can't tell on this paper. I have to spray it on myself, and I got something else on me. But it's really, really good. I used to have the Dolce & Gabbana with this brown square top. I can't remember the name, but it was the best. Not too strong, perfect. Yeah, they do have some really good ones. They have a few really good ones actually. But yeah, you want something that you. Okay, so there is natural smells, and then there's like the made smells. The natural smells are going to be the ones that, at least from what I think, which doesn't mean shit, lasts a little bit longer. But it hits you different, right? It's like, even if it is a little bit stronger, it doesn't like blow you away where it's like, what the fuck? It's not like that. It has that nice smell to it where like it can, surround you a little bit more, and it doesn't like annoy you. It doesn't choke you out. It smells really good. And when they're mixed, and those ones tend to be a little bit more expensive too, or they can be. Ralph Lauren Apollo Blue. There you go. I don't know if I've tried that one yet. I might have to now. Like I said, I always, if I'm ever curious about one, I always get the sampler. And you can get these bottles like this big that are samplers, but they're enough to last you like a couple months. Depending on if you have other smells or scents or not. They also sell you tester bottles. Tester bottles, you're getting a brand new bottle. The only difference is the cap will be different. Like this will be a messed up cap. It might not be the magnetic cap or something like that, or they'll be dented or something like that, where they literally just took an old cap off of something else and put it on. But the bottle's still brand new. The sprayer's still good. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the actual cap is not original or not, the brand new. Jared, can we cool it on swear words, virgin ears? Yeah, I'll slow down. Sex Panther. Sex Panther, is that a smell? The original panty dropper. I'm so freaking rich, it doesn't matter what I smell like. There you go. I'm so the original panty dropper. I got so much money, it don't matter how bad I stink. That's a good one. That is hilarious. Monty Blanc Legends is my shit too. I'll bring you a bottle to Blade Show. I have an extra. Hell yeah. I mean, I love the smells. I'll definitely bring some too. Because I almost even the other day when I met up with Cole, I almost gave him a bottle. Like then I thought about like, is that weird? Like I started thinking, is that weird? Should I not do that? Like the first time I ever meet dude, I give him a bottle of cologne. Just like, I'm not telling you stink or nothing, bro. I'm not trying to tell you smell. I'm just, I thought it'd be a cool gift because the reason why is because I have a full bottle and then I had a sampler bottle, but the sampler bottle is like a full bottle. Like it's a good sample bottle. Like it's not like one of those little ones. It's an actual one. And that's why I was telling you guys before in a different video that to buy those, because you can throw them in your backpack, you can throw them in your truck. They're cheap. And then you have the beautiful smelling, expensive colognes you want for like $10. But it has a good sprayer on it. It's a good amount, and you can carry it around in your pocket if you want to. But I almost gave him that because I have a full bottle of it. And that one was which one was that one? I was going to give him. I don't remember. Now that Was it this Dylan Blue? I think it was a bottle of this. The Dylan Blue. Fucking shit smells so good. Sorry, I keep cussing. Sorry. It's just natural, man. Is the running around the house. The Trixie is giving me the freaky. I love you guys, but have to go. Breeze, thanks for sending me an image of your Rock Hudson poster. Bang, gang, bang, gang. All right, Maurice, take it easy, brother. Better to give Cologne the first time than the second or third time. That's actually brilliant. You're right. You're right. That's so true. The second time you're like, hey, I thought I'd bring you a bottle of cologne. They're instantly thinking, in their head at least, did he not think I smelled good the first time I seen him? Did he think, is he trying to tell me something? Because when first time we met up, he didn't say anything about colognes or anything. I have a 0.25 milliliter bottle of the Sauvage that stays with me. It's so damn good. Right. And that's what I recommend. I recommend like getting one of those, like, even if you do already get one of the big ones, obviously spray that one like in the morning, but then you can get one of the small bottles of the cologne you like, and that can be in your truck, in your bag, your briefcase, whatever, because they don't last all day. They last 4 hours. Right? That's how long a good cologne lasts. 4 hours. Some of them, the really, really good long lasting ones, you can get 6 hours out of. Some of them, it's 2 hours max. So it's not a bad thing to, like, in the morning you can overspray, because by the time you wind up leaving, it's going to be just fine. Right? But halfway through the day, it's going to be gone. So if you have just a little something, just give yourself a little pop during the day. It's not a bad idea, man. And it's not bad to smell good, guys. It's not bad. So I don't know what your fathers or mothers taught you, but it's not a bad thing to smell good. Jared, do you keep your cologne in your purse? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I keep it in my purse. Aqua. Yeah, I got that one. I got the black bottle. I forget the name of, and then I have the original one. The original one's the clear bottle, and then I have the black bottle. I think the black bottle is the best. Kara likes the clear bottle the best, which is the original. So there's the original, which is a cleaner scent. Then the black bottle, I think, is it's more masculine. It's more masculine. It has a woodsy top layer. But it's still a really clean scent. That's a scent you can wear all year round. That's more of an office, like, in my opinion, like if you work in an office or something, that's great. But that's a really good one. Really, yeah, the black one. That's my favorite. And that's one of my most recommended smells. The clear one's really good too. It's just a little bit of a cleaner scent. So if you really like that fresh out of the shower clean scent, that's them. But not saying the black bottle's not like that too. It just has that heavy wood layer over the top, that leathery wood flavor right over the top. That's really good. All right, we got to get to other topics, because some people in here like to stink. So just a bunch of stinky effers. All right, Tucson TS129. Let's talk about it. So as you guys know, I've had this for a long time, but I haven't talked about it in a while. You guys are probably wondering, does he still like it? Does he even still use it? I mean, does he ever even cut anything with that thing anymore? He's got all those other knives, but does he ever even look at this knife anymore? Nope. I'm sure, obviously. Which I can't believe I haven't cleaned it yet. I was cutting out cardboard earlier with it. Now, this is a great knife. The hole deployment on the 129, that keyhole, almost skull-like, it is great for the reverse flick, and I can't express this enough, the thumb flick. It has a perfect space for your thumb, which most holes do, let's just be honest. So it works so good for the thumb flick and the reverse flick. This one also has the top flipper. Now, the drop on mine isn't the best. Like, it's not full shut action, but you don't need that, right? It's still very, very smooth on the drop. But the beautiful thing about this, besides that whole deployment, is these ergos. and the blade shape. This blade shape, I call it a drop foot. The drop foot blade shape. It works so good because you can get extended cuts with a blade shape like this. So take a picture of this blade shape. Long cutting potential with a blade shape like this. Almost like a Warncliffe in a way. I know it's all dirty, so you guys probably can't even see it that good. But it goes up and then it kind of peeks out right here just a little bit. And what that does is when you're going through making a cut, when you're at the end of your cut, you can kind of drag your wrist like that, and you can get like an extra foot or two out of a cut because this front portion of the blade will stay hooked into the material, similar to a recurve or similar to some Warncliffes. But it just makes it to where you can get really long extended cuts without the blade slipping out, right? Like if you have some blade shapes where the blade might potentially slip out, like even like a blade shape like this. Love this blade shape, but it has the potential to slip out of a cut in some cases. This one, the other one that has it peaks down just a little bit right there, which makes it trap itself into materials right here. You can't barely see it, but it's almost like it sweeps up right here and then it almost recurves, but it's not quite a recurve. It's an almost recurve. You know, like it wanted to be a recurve, but it just couldn't do it. You know, just couldn't make the team. Keep your thumbs away from my hole. Yeah, no, I will. I got alcohol right here. I keep it everywhere. I always have a bottle of alcohol ready to go. I spray it. I don't even pour. I always take big bottles and I pour them into these little bottles so that I can always just spray stuff. I highly recommend that too. Don't pour your alcohol. Spray your alcohol, unless if you're drinking it, then pour it. I spit and rub my blades like everything else. You know, that's how my dad taught me how to sharpen. Because back in the day, we had aluminum oxide stones. He did at one point have some glass rods that we used for sharpening. I don't know what brand or anything like that, but they were glass rods, and we used to use them for sharpening. I don't know if there was something special about them or what, but they were glass. Anyways, the point is that back in the day we had aluminum oxide stones, and he used to teach me to spit on it for lube, for oil. And you know, that's how he'd say it, you know, it's the best oil, and he'd spit on it and rub it in and you'd sharpen your knife. I thought it was normal. I literally thought forever that that's how you were supposed to do it. The first time I seen oil, I was like, what? Thought you were supposed to spit on the stone. You're not supposed to huck a loogie on it? Was it just me the whole time that was doing that? Yes, recurve like. You get the benefits of a recurve. You get 50% of the recurve benefits without it actually being a recurve. So 50% of the recurve benefits with none of the downfalls. I spit on my rod too on special occasions like Easter. Carning made some way back. This was a long time ago, so this would have been way back for sure. 90s. For sure, the 90s. Speaking of Tucson, I went a little bonkers the other day. Bought 4 Tucsons. The new Tucson copper titanium flashlight, Tucson pen, and new Tucson pry bar. Can't wait for that box. Another addition to his purse. Yes, another addition to my purse. It's like a bare knuckle. Yes, exactly. 100%, Ruben. You got it. You hit it right on the head. Yes, it's a bare knuckle, just like the Kershaw, the USA made Kershaw bare knuckle, just like that. I call it a drop foot, but it is a sheep's foot, right? Like the bare knuckle, I always call that one a sheep's foot. And this one you could call a sheep's foot too. This is a sheep's foot. It's the edge that kind of does something different, because in many cases, Do I have another sheep's foot here? A sheep's foot blade just kind of extends out. I guess it does go up a little bit right there, but it doesn't really peak down a little bit. And this kind of peaks down just a little tiny bit at the end, like only like that much, but that little bit will help trap that material for some reason. Anyways, so we have a couple things we're going to pull up really quick. Get rid of that. Take this. So we're going to check out. It is out. If you guys don't know, maybe you guys do, maybe you guys don't, but it is out. I'm pulling it up so you guys can just look at it. Would you look at it? Bees would say. So, would you look at it? We got the new Ferrum Forge. Well, it's Ferrum Forge design. Wii Mini Malice. It is out. If you guys didn't know, it has dropped. And it is at Blade HQ. I'm not sure about Knife Center or any of the other places, but I'm pretty sure if it's not there yet, it's going to be. And Stasa 23 is in the damn house. Knife Therapy is in the house. What's up, Stasa 23? Shout out to Stasa 23. I'm actually, check this out. I'm banging Stasa's shirt right now. So that's how badass this dude is. I got his shirt on. Shout out to Stasa 23. We're going to pull this down for a second. Shout out to Stasa 23. Go and follow his channel. Get yourself some knife therapy. Best therapist in the business. So we have the Wii Mini Malice. I do have, I can't even remember the name of it now. Oh, the Kulix. I do have the Kulix, which I think is the same size as the Malice. If you guys want to see my first impressions of this, really good detent on this one. Holy cow, this one has a good detent, especially for such a little flipper tab. Fantastic detent. Rock solid lockup. So far, I have flipped it a lot. I have cut with it a little bit. Still rock solid. But yeah, awesome little knife. I'm guessing the Malice is the same size as this. Let me pull it back up. So they have this available. Now, let's look at the other thing that they have. So if you guys didn't know that it is available now, everybody's been waiting all year for this damn thing. Now they also have this new spear point, drop point synergy. Damn it. So this, I call it a spear point. It is, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm lying. That's a drop point. It's a drop point. They have it in full titanium too. This one has the marbled carbon fiber on there, but they have a full titanium one with all the milling. This is an integral. It is expensive, $378 for this bastard, but it's a hollow ground drop point integral. It is a good looking knife. I'll be honest. I was close to getting it, but then I was like, you know what, man? I'm not going to get it because that's $378 I could spend on a USA made knife at Blade Show. So I did hold back on this one for that very reason. And that's the honest to God reason why I did hold back on it. But I'm still going to show it to you guys. Beautiful knife. Beautiful fucking knife. Sorry, I keep cussing. Beautiful drop point fucking knife. But it's and it's an integral. Some people love integral. Some people don't, you know. To each their own, but it is probably incredibly well made. It probably has a great detent. I don't know. But anyways, now there is a budget knife I wanted to show you guys that recently dropped. Can't remember the name of it. Oh, here it is right here. Bang, bang. The Civivi Setos. Now this one's a spear point. We have a spear point with a fuller and a flipper. I love that blade shape. One of my all-time favorite blade shapes right there. One of. It's very close to my favorite type of blade shape. My favorite type has a little bit more. It's still a spear point, but more like the Gail Bradley spear point. That's my all-time favorite. But this is close. Also the Nkosi blade, or sorry, Insingo. The Insingo blade shape. That's my all-time favorite blade shape. Out of any blade shape, the Insingo, because it reminds me of the drop foot. It's just like the old drop foot right here. That's why I love that blade shape. But my top two would be the spear point, the one that's similar to the Gail Bradley, and the Insingo blade shape, all-time favorites. This is a beautiful blade shape, though. Beautiful ergos. It looks like this is not a small or big knife, 7.9 inches, so it's a full-size knife, almost a 3.5 inch blade, 120,000 blade stock thickness, so relatively thin blade stock thickness. Is it a hollow? I can't tell. I think it's a flat grind. Yes, flat ground blade. Wish it was a hollow, but anyways, it has a couple different versions. If you guys are interested in that, you guys can go check that out as well. Now, speaking of cold steel, I've been wanting to try the new cold steel knife. Another company that won't answer me. I want to try that new was it the Atlas lock? Is that what it's called? Somebody correct me right now. There's a new lock from Cold Steel. It's similar to the Shark lock. What is it called? The Atlas lock? Am I correct on that? Help me out, Fiend. Yes. Okay, so Guns and Loaded. So thank you, Guns and Loaded. He's always loaded. I want to get one of those. I've been trying to find one, but they're not out yet, I guess. I did see, was it Jimmy Slash that had it or Big Red? One of the two. And maybe it was Jimmy Slash. I think he had one. I think Cold Steel probably sent it to him, or maybe it was Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I'm not sure. But I want to get one of those. So I'm going to keep trying until I get one. Otherwise, wait till they drop and then get one. But I want to test it out. It looks badass. It looks like an incredibly strong lock. I'm guessing it's similar strength to the Shark lock. It's very similar. I seen it taken apart. It's very similar to the Shark lock. Like it's almost a 1-to-1 like the Shark lock. So just a little tiny bit different. I'm guessing, Cold Steel and well, I don't know because whatchamacallit owns Cold Steel now, right? So I don't know how that works because would they be able to take Andrew Demko's lock design and use it on their shit without him telling them yes when whatchamacallit Lynn Thompson doesn't own Cold Steel anymore? I don't know. I don't know how that works. Do you have Ken Onion? Oh, that's not for me. Was it Jimmy? Okay, it was Jimmy Slash. Jared, you need a Bark River Bravo. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. My autocorrect is yes, the bootleg shark. Exactly. It's a bootleg shark lock. But that lock design, like you can just look at it and you can tell that's a very, very strong locking system. Now the Atlas has like 2 pins at the top where the lock bar has the spring inside, just like I got my shark lock on me right now. Where this bar that moves back and forth on the Atlas, it's more like right here. So, but it has the spring inside just like this. And it has 2 pins here instead of just the one. See, this one has the stop pin here. The Atlas has 2 pins and it kind of goes up in behind the blade, like going over the 2 pins. It looks incredibly strong. I want to try it out and it looks very fidgety. The one big difference is it's back here. So I'm guessing it'll make it easy to go like this because this one you got to reach up a little high. So with the Atlas, you'll be able to do it right here like that, which looks cool. Looks cool to me. Shout out to Joe Steel forged in fires in the house. If it's cold steel patent lock, it's gotta be good. Well, I don't see. I'm wondering how that's working with Cold Steel, with Thompson not owning Cold Steel anymore, right? But him being good friends with Andrew, is he still like working with them a little bit? Where he's like, "Hey guys, I don't know." Like, I'm curious of that. Probably not. Is Cold Steel just like looking at what they're doing, like what Andrew's doing, and saying, "Hey, let's steal that and add an extra pin. We'll move it back a little bit, add a pin. It'll be our ship. We'll call it that." I'm not saying they did that, and I'm not saying they didn't do that. I'm just saying, like, I wonder if they got deals in the works, or if they're just doing what they want and it has nothing. They don't have nothing to do with each other. What did Bruce say? I know Demco has a new lock, a custom 8010 in magnet cut. It's so slick. Yeah, I seen that. That does look badass. I seen that. That looks really badass. That question only asks more questions, Matt. Yes, Matt, that only asks more questions. Best value knife for how much money? How much money are you trying to spend? What kind of knife? How big? What are you doing with it? Y'all are going to be at Blade on the 5th, right? Absolutely. We're going to be all 3 days, or was it 3 or 4 days? The 2nd through the 6th, all 4 days, 3 or 4 days, whatever it is. I'll be there the whole time. Until the doors are locked, I will be there. They are going to be asking me to leave. For sure. They're going to be like, listen, there's nobody here. There's nobody else here. What are you still doing here? My flight doesn't even leave till the next day. So I got time. I think he's working with his brother. Huh. Oh, also shout out to Lacey. She's been doing these cut tests on Instagram. If you guys want to see some awesome in-depth cut tests, she's been doing these cut tests and she's been writing it out, like literally everything you could ask, about her process, what happened, so on and so forth. She literally writes it all out, leaves nothing to the imagination. And I love that. I love that she explains it in full detail, her process and how it went, what happened in the end, the how the edge stability went, everything. Go and follow Lacey's channel. And I got another channel I want you guys to follow here in a second, but shout out to Lacey. You can follow her on Instagram. Awesome, awesome channel. And Acuminous Edge. Acuminous Edge on Instagram. If he was in here, I would maybe somebody can link it. He's trying to get some more followers. He has some of the most badass knives, especially from Microtech. I know there's some controversy with Microtech, but he has also some other knives, and he's got some badass knives, and he's trying to get his following up a little bit more. You guys should definitely go and follow his content. He has some badass videos too, like some badass videos, badass photography, just all the way around. And he's been a huge supporter of me since I barely even started. Like, he was one of the first guys to really support me with amazing knives, and just like letting me check out knives that I only could have dreamed of at the time getting to handle. So, he showed me love then when I was under 100 followers, maybe 3, I don't even know. But just like a lot of you that are still here. So I'm not talking about you guys too. I appreciate everybody who's been here from the fucking jump. You guys are amazing. I'll be there from the 2nd to the 6th. Same. I'll be there from the 2nd to the 6th. My flight leaves on the 6th. I'm thinking of looking for SubBB. Link Instagram. That's on a different moderator. I don't. Oh fuck. Yeah. I get it. Put the link up. I'll subscribe. All right, you fucks. I gotta do the work myself. I had to do the work myself. There we go. All right. I'm just going to do it myself. Just going to have to do it myself. All right. So we got this one. And we got oh, there's Lacey Marie. This one. Bang, gang. And I appreciate you guys following these channels and platforms, because I know they're on Instagram and not every one of you are on Instagram. But listen, if you guys love knife content, Instagram is definitely a platform you want to get onto. You don't have to follow or subscribe to any other bullshit. As long as you only follow, like if you go to my page right now, you won't see anything but knife content, literally nothing else. So if you are already part of the knife community, you're kind of dumb not to join Instagram, because that's where lots of deals happen, the wheelings and the dealings. And then all the companies, when they're dropping stuff or they have new prototypes or new this or new that coming out, that's where they show it. That's where you get new early releases. You get lots of giveaways, lots of knife sales, and everybody just, hangs out and like shoots the shit and shares each other's content, or not shares. Yeah. Each other's content and posts and pictures. And it's fun. It really helps you get more involved with the community, and you don't have to follow any other shit. It's not like you have to get involved in anything else. Jared, have you got your hands on the Kubi 901? It's like a flipper version of the Momentum. I think you like it. No, I haven't. I have not. But I love that Momentum, man. That Momentum is badass, to say the least. That thing is one of the best budget knives of the year, if not the best budget. It's one of, for sure. It's definitely, as of right now, probably top 5, if not top 3. And it could possibly be number 1. Like that, it is that good. Thanks, Lonely Stacker. I appreciate it, man. I rarely upload on Instagram, but it's a good place to message people in the community. Yep. Yeah, and then you get to talk. You can talk behind the scenes privately or among everybody else. There's great questions, great conversations. I like to ask questions on there because I like to get your guys' feel for things. Like I'll do a post and I'll be like, what do you guys think of this? Or this or this, like I'll ask questions, I'll show pictures, and I like to get your guys' feedback so I get a general idea of what everybody else thinks, because sometimes you can be in a box, and it's good to have, like, there's so many times where I didn't consider something and I put up a post and somebody tells me about something, and then it's like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. And it's like, or they'll bring up something that's happened and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. So then you end up looking into it and you're like, oh, that's true, of whatever, right? Like maybe it's about a company's heat treat, or maybe it's about a company in general, or maybe it's about a locking system or something, and it might be really, really good and you might not realize it. But like all these little details come out on Instagram where you can really share your opinions and you get to hear other people's. I've got a Roxy 3 coming in. Do you like that knife? Yeah, that's a badass knife. The Roxy's great. I got to try it out. I tried out Lefty EDCs and I loved it. I liked it a lot, actually. Very, very well done. I know Knives is the one who made that, but it feels like a rehab. Okay, so let's talk about this right now. The elephant in the room. Knives heat treat on the 20 CV. So recently, a friend in the community did a cut test on Wee's 20 CV, and it was a newer batch. So you can't use the excuse that that's older stuff. It was a new batch, and it did not do well. And I would have thought it did a lot. I would have thought it did better than what it did. Now, I've been not screaming, but I've been saying that Knives is heat treats on their other steels, like their 14C. Amazing. I think they're doing such a good job with it. I even think they're doing a good job with their D2. Among some of their other steels, I think they're doing better than most overseas companies. Now they're 20 CV. I felt like from sharpening it and also testing it, it felt like that theirs were better than most overseas stuff. Now, when you say that, does that say too much? Not really. Because a lot of the overseas stuff, they're pumping it out like water, right? So what can you expect, right? You don't expect much. Now, taking away like Riyadh, right? But with all the other companies, they're pumping them out like water. And it makes it to where it's like, fuck, man, they're doing so much. Could they even possibly be doing a good heat treat? And it's looking like no, right? That from that cut. Now, it's only one. It is only one cut test. So it's hard to say what it would be like if there was 5 different examples all tested, right? Maybe that was one bad one. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. It was tested at 60.5 HRC, which is already not in the optimal range, right? A lot of companies are running it that hard. Let's just be honest. A lot of companies are running it that soft. It should be up a little higher. It should be up over 61 HRC. We'd like to see it over 62. We'd like to see it at 63. So I thought about talking to them and seeing, and being like, hey, your shit's coming out garbage right now. And I don't want to say garbage because that's talking too much shit. It didn't do well, right? It didn't do well. It could have done better. Now, like I said, from my experience with sharpening and testing it, no controlled tests, by the way. Not one controlled test. I've never done a controlled test on their 20 CV. I've done controlled tests on their other steels, but never their 20 CV, which is a different animal, by the way. We've talked about this a lot on this channel where 20 CV M390-204B can be a little finicky for companies to heat treat in mass production. So it might be something that we might have to address and speak to them about, or we'll see. And if it's something they can't address, then it's on everybody else of whether or not they want to continue paying the money for them, if the price that they sell, if they're not going to run an optimal range HRC on their 20 CV. But we'll see, right? We'll see how it goes. Like I said, that is just one. So, you hate to just, jump overboard on one knife, but we'd like to see it ran a little harder. 20 CV is a new D2, except you're paying at least double for it. Right. That's the way it seems. Now, there are some companies doing a good job, and that's why, like with Spyderco, man. Spyderco, that's the one company, and this isn't separating we from everybody else. Most companies are doing that. If you took 100 companies right now, 90 of them would be doing it like that. But if you want to feel what a good quality heat treat feels like, get a new Spyderco. And I say new because it seems like in like the last 2 years, man, they've really just, in my opinion, just like maybe it's been longer and I just didn't notice, but it seems like the last 2 years, man, their heat treats have just been like on point. And I honestly think a little bit of it had to do with all the cut tests from the community. Cedric Caneda, Super Steel Steve, Outpost 76, Tom Hosang, all these people, and now Lacey, all these people doing these controlled cut tests. It's kind of undeniable, right? When you see how controlled it is, when you see all the parameters or whatever that they're putting into the test, it's hard to deny. Now, yes, of course, you're going to have 100 people say, well, you didn't do this, or that's not a good test for this, or they're going to have all that shit. But it's something. It's something. It's better than what you're giving us from the company. Are you telling me how many feet it's going to cut because I didn't see your controlled test. Do you know what I mean? These companies are coming out saying, hey, well, we tested 10 of our knives and this is how many feet of cardboard it would cut before it would stop doing blank. We don't get that from the companies. So when we do it on our own, you can't bitch about how the test was done or whatever, right? There was, as long as they did it as honest as possible. Yes, one is one, and that doesn't mean anything to do with anything else. Like if I did a test on this knife, it's not going to have anything to do with all their other knives, but it's a good idea of where it could be. It's not, saying 100% that's how it's going to be, but it's a good idea. But it definitely doesn't reflect anybody else's M390. That's what this is. So that's why I said that. But whatever steel is, right? Every company runs it different. Every company runs it possibly with a different heat treat, possibly at a different HRC. They grind them different. They sharpen them different. So there's a lot of factors at play. Smoky Mountain Works MagnaCut Decas I would be right at 60 there. Definitely soft compared to my Mule Team and MagnaCut. Lacey, that's what I've said about all the MagnaCut I've tried compared to the Mule. I would say, and remember, the Mule I tried was not HRC tested, but if I had to guess, I would say it was 63 HRC. I tested multiple other knives. None of them, aside from, am I blind? Oh, this is the only one that's ever felt as good as that one. But this is 64.5 HRC, and it's tested 64.5 HRC. So I know for a fact that this is 64.5 HRC MagnaCut. This is done by Transparent Knives. Shout out to Brian over at Transparent Knives. So this is a different breed though, right? We can't include this in the example or the conversation because it's custom, it's not mass produced. But that Mule has just like wiped everything else out. Now, my tactile, that in video I did, I talked about it. It didn't feel like it was as good as it was still decent, but it was not as good as the Mule. The Mule was the best I have felt out of, and Spyderco. That's Spyderco, right? Like we were just talking about. So all the other MagnaCut has felt, what is it? Protex. I did try BGM. BGM has changed his, but at the time, this was at that time, so he's upped his. So we'll take that one off the map. Who else was there? There was a bunch of other ones. Doesn't matter. The Mule was the best though. We got story time. You guys are letting me slip. Would you love to see testing done on different stone finishing? Also like 400G versus 600G versus 800G up to 2000, for example. We'd love to see testing done on different stone finishing. Yeah, I mean, some steels are going to respond better with finer grits and some with coarser grits. Now, the problem with that, the only problem with it is that when you do a test, right, like it's hard to say, unless if you'd use the exact same knife. So I guess I see what you're saying if you're saying the exact same knife, because if you use two different knives, you kind of want to sharpen them the same to see what the result is so that you can see which one did better, right? Then maybe, change the grits and things like that. But yeah, I guess when you got enough tests out there and you got enough testers, it's nice to see different finishes and things like that. Well, was the edge better and longer lasting at a 600 grit edge, or was it longer lasting with a 1500 grit edge? Or was it even longer lasting with a finer edge? It performs excellent and feels great on the stones at 64.5 HRC, doesn't it? I'll tell you this, the decas are way too soft and I'm not happy. Yeah. Yeah. At 64.5 HRC, it's a different animal though. I mean, like this doesn't feel like anything. Like this, to me, like once you hit the stone with this, even with it this thin behind the edge, it feels almost like glass on the stone. Like, and I tried to show that before because, and Lacey, you'll know this, but like I've tried to show people on here how you can tell the difference because a lot of people say, man, I can't tell the difference. Like if it's a soft steel or if it's a hard steel. And I've tried to tell them, like, well, one way you can tell is if you have two of the same steels, like say they're both M390, and one, when you get it on the stone, it almost skates across it. Well, then you know that steel's a little bit harder. Then you get another one, it almost gouges into the diamonds, like it almost like, you can feel it like gouging into it. Now you know that one's a little bit softer. One is skating across like glass, and the other one's gouging into it. One's a little bit softer. Now, also the burr removal, right? The way the burr comes off. If one burr is flopping back and forth 1,000 times and won't come off versus the other one, you flip it, and then when it flips back, it just pops off. That's hard shit. That's why it's popping off so easily. It's hard, so it can't bend back and forth. A burr that bends back and forth, it's soft. That's why it's able to do that. A very hard HRC steel is not going to do that. The burr will come off like a wire, or it'll flake off in a bunch of little crumbly pieces, but it'll come off like that. So there's different ways to tell if it's hard or if it's soft. And yeah, I think let me say I hope companies like Hogue get some feedback from the community about the steel and bump it up. But it's going to take us. It's going to take the community to say, hey, you fucks, this stuff's soft. This stuff is soft, and I guarantee they'll bump it up. They'll do it. I don't have can't speak for everybody in the community, can we? But a couple of them, the ones that care, the ones that give a shit about the community, and the ones that, they care about the end users, they will do what we want to the highest of their ability. Right? I don't want to say do what we want because we all want something different, but if I would say the overwhelming majority of us would rather have long-lasting edge retention than soft, tough steel. Because if it's soft, yeah, it might be tougher, but your edge is going to constantly get dull. It's going to be more difficult to sharpen. It's going to be harder to deburr. It's not going to take as keen of an edge. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have super keen edges that last a very long time and are easy to do burr removal? And strap back easily. It always seems softer steels take longer to correct when sharpening. Harder seems to get uniform faster. That is so true, Kyle. That is so true. And the reason why is because kind of like what I was just saying, like with the gouging, right? So a super soft steel. And it was Triple B who actually talked about this. So shout out to Triple B. This was months ago. He was kind of talking about when you're sharpening, and a steel might have a certain HRC or whatever, or maybe it's a certain steel, right? It might not even be anything to do with the HRC. It might just be the steel, but it almost feels like you're just pushing it, right? So it's almost like you're forming it into what you want. And that's why you'll take a couple swipes, and it's almost like you just kind of push the metal a little bit rather than cutting it off. When it's really hard, you take a couple swipes and it's like you just cut it off, and it's nice and clean. Each swipe is just like removing that steel perfectly, revealing a nice flat surface, if you're not convexing. But yeah, no, for sure. For sure. When it's softer, it takes harder because it's almost like you're forming it. With a harder steel, it's almost like you're cutting it. You probably want more of a tougher edge, Breeze. If you're really tough on the edges, if you don't need something super duper slicey, I would say for you, 20 degrees per side. And if you're going to go lower to a 17 degrees, you probably want a convex. because you're probably tougher on your edges. Now, if you're not going to be really tough on it, then I would say 17 degrees per side, with or without a convex, doesn't really matter. Or 15 degrees per side. 15 degrees per side, you're getting super duper slicey, but fragile. Your edge, not saying it's super fragile, I'm just saying it's more fragile than at 20 degrees per side. But if you, depends on what you're looking for. If you want super slicey, long lasting edge retention, meaning it cuts for a long time and stays sharp for a long time, then you want a lower angle, but it's more fragile. If you're wanting a more tough edge, not as sharp, not as keen, but it's more tough. So it's going to be able to withstand maybe a little bit more abuse, then you want a higher angle. Oh, shit. I hate to hear that, Lacey. Oh, man. You got two of them. Man, full convex has spoiled me. Micro bevels do not cut it anymore. Hey, I like convex too. I like them all, man. I see. I don't really like. I love all edges, man. I like them all, just for different reasons. I love a good convex edge. I also love. I think my favorite would be a semi-convex, where it's almost a perfect V ground. So it would be a freehand edge, right? So like I can get a perfect V grind flat, freehand edge. Perfect. I can get an absolute perfect flat V ground edge. People in the community will say like it's impossible for somebody to do a freehand perfectly flat edge. I will bet you money that I can get you a perfect 100% flat edge. 100%, not even a little bit of convex. But what I love is a little bit, just a little bit. And Michael Christie really talked about this. Shout out to Michael Christie. You know, that little bit of convexing, you almost stop because you fight for so long doing freehand to get a perfectly flat edge. And then once you got it, once you've been able to achieve it, you don't really care about it so much. You wind up almost enjoying that little bit of convex out of the edge because you can get those really low angles that you want, like 15 degrees per side, without losing or sacrificing the toughness that you might want in the edge. And it helps that edge stay a little bit more stable. So you have just, instead of it being like a real convexed, right? Or a perfectly flat V grind, it has just a little tiny bit of convexing. And so it's super duper slicey, ridiculously sharp, yet it's stable enough that if you did knock it against something or, whatever, it doesn't just chip or roll. Right. So I think I appreciate a little, if I'm not using a fixed angle system, obviously, right? I do have a convexing way or a convexing thing for a fixed angle system. But when I'm freehanding, I enjoy getting a little tiny bit of convexing out of it. How do I EDC a hatchet? I would say not the shoulder strap, but you could go with like the old what were those guys called? Like not gangsters. I think it was the old like uh or the FBI. I don't remember. Remember how the old cops used to wear them right here? They're a harness. I think you should get a hatchet like that right underneath the arm, where you can just pull it out like that right underneath the jacket. You open up your jacket and pull out your hatchet. But otherwise, I'd say right on the hip. That's the best way to carry it, right on your hip, like a hammer, just like a hammer. But if you could carry it underneath the arm right here next to the lat muscle, you'd be a fucking G. Carrying your hatchet like a damn G. Again, thank you guys so much. It's a blessing to have you guys in this community. Oh, Matt, thank you for joining us. And thank you for being a part of it, man. Mobsters. Yeah, mobsters did it. The old gangsters did it. But it first came from like cops, not actual cops, but like undercovers or whatever they were called. I can't even think of what they're called. I suddenly got a headache. trying to think so much. Bill the Butcher. Yeah, a shoulder holster. Thank you. A shoulder holster. Yeah. Get a hatchet and a shoulder holster. That'd be some G shit right there. Oh man. Can you imagine like being in the room with somebody and you got your jacket on? Nobody knows you got a shoulder holster on, and like somebody's trying to cut something. You're just like, oh, here. And you pull your damn hatchet out and hand it to them. And you imagine the double take somebody would do? Did you just pull a hatchet out from underneath your arm, bro? Did you just do that? Like, oh, I gotta show you guys something. I got the fish back. Dennis with the 2 bones. Thoughts on crew wear versus S45 or 20 CV? Give me 1 second. So I told you guys about the fish, right? Remember I told you guys about the fish? Well, I'm going to show you guys the fish here in 1 second. So my thoughts are crew wear. Crew wear is better. I like crew wear better. So 20 CV is going to be more stain resistant and be able to hold an edge longer than both of those. But that's if it has an optimal heat treat and if it's at an optimal HRC. So most likely it's going to have basically the same performance, to be honest with you, especially for most production companies. Crew wear and S45 are very similar with edge retention. I think S45 is going to barely be able to outcut it. And that's if it's at an optimal HRC. Now with crew wear, you're most likely going to get it from 2 companies, Spyderco or BGM. So you're going to get a really good heat treat. So I would say crew wear is going to outperform both of them. That's just my opinion. But if you're wanting stain resistance, 20 CV and S45 are going to be more stain resistant. But crew wear is going to be tougher. All right, you guys ready for the fish? And thank you for the donation, Dennis. This is the fish. Why is it called the fish? Well, look at the handle. It looks like a fish. So I used to have this on I got it back. I finally got it back. Remember I told you guys I bought some of my old knives back a while back? Well, if this is 440, yeah, 440. And it has seen some better days. Let me tell you, I'm going to clean it up. But it is a beast. And it used to sit, I used to have it sitting on my wall, like just like ready to hack somebody's arm off. I used to have all kinds of knives on, kind of like my bowl and the shit back there. I used to have my knives all over the place on walls. I used to have like these, like kind of like a picture frame, like that somebody would have on a shelf. I used to have knives like that, like on like display all over my house. And this was a long time ago. Like, I don't know, long time ago. And this was just one of them I had like on a wall somewhere. And yeah, I got it back. I have actually chopped wood with this biche. It is full tang, but it has definitely seen better days. It has a little bit of splitting down here, but the full tang goes down in the middle. Obviously, this piece and this piece are 2 separate pieces pinned on. It's pretty crazy. It is a hollow grind though. Clip point buoy style with a hollow, and it's a beast. Very front heavy. It just wants to chop a limb. I am going to sharpen it after I remove some of this spotting. It's got a little bit of spotting on it. So get rid of that and yeah, get her done. Maybe even possibly sharpen this set. No, that's pretty thick to do, but I could do it though. It's a beast. I have actually cut wood with this before though. And it is handmade, by the way. Handmade. It even says it. Handmade. It's just a cheapie, but fuck it. Right? Oh, I love it though. This brings back some memories. One time, a long time ago, and then I'll tell a story. This actually is kind of a story. I had my nephews by, right? And, since I'm the uncle, I thought about, I got to do something cool, right? My nephews are coming by. They live a couple hours away from here. And these nephews live, a few hours away from here. So I didn't get to have them very often, but they were coming to stay the night. So it was like, I got to be like the best uncle in the world, right? I got to do some shit that like my nephews will never forget. Dennis with another 5 bones. I am picking between a PM2 and an S45 or 20 CV, but then I saw a video on crewwear, so I am at a crossroads. Do I save for the winter blades magnet? So, I mean, that's on you if you're gonna get the winter blades. Yeah, that's badass. Do that if you want, but I would totally recommend if you're going to decide between the Spyderco's, I would get the crewwear if I was you. It's not going to be a stainless, but if you keep it dry, keep it oiled, you'll be just fine. If you keep it dry, you'll be just fine, and oil it every couple months. But I would recommend the crewwear. They do have a micarta version. I can link it right now for you. Micarta and crewwear for 180 bucks, 180, 190 bucks. I can link it for you right now, and it's an affiliate link. But otherwise, I can link all those Spyderco's. Yeah, I mean the Winter Blades is badass though, but that one you're gonna have to wait for the Spyderco's you get right now. So anyway, so my and thank you for the donation. I do appreciate it, man. So my nephews were coming by, so I said, what could I do? What could I do that's just like, and they were younger at the time. So I set up an arena out in my backyard with fruit. So I had like posts that I put fruit on. I had them hanging from strings, and I pulled out a katana and a couple badass knives like this, but not this one because I think this one would have been a little too heavy, but some badass knives. And I had them with real swords and real knives running around the backyard doing, what's that fruit game called? Fruit Ninja shit. I was throwing them to them. I was, swinging them on a rope, having them, and they're little, athletes. So they're just fine swinging swords and shit, So yeah, they had the time of their life. It was great as kids, These kids, they hunt now. They do everything. They're in sports. One's in football. One's in baseball. They kick ass for sure. Fruit Ninja, yeah, they were playing real life Fruit Ninja. I would choose crewwear over that too. But that's me. So out of those two steels, I appreciate the long, fine edge holding ability of crewwear. Maximet has the long working edge ability. So if you appreciate an edge that'll last forever, not literally, but an edge that'll last a very long time, then you'll want Maximet. Now that's going to be a working edge. It's not going to be a fine edge. But if you appreciate a fine edge lasting a long time, then you'll want crewwear. Now, the working edge won't last very long, though. So you'll have lower edge retention from crewwear, longer edge retention from Maximet, but crewwear they both take a really good fine edge. Both of them take a very sharp fine edge. Maximet loses it very fast, so it goes down to a working edge. All right, so let's get down to the story time. So I was going to tell a couple stories about some petty crimes. Petty as hell crimes. You guys ready for some petty as hell crimes? If you guys are ready for story time, give me a story time in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just stick to knives. If you guys want to stick to knives, we can stick to knives. If you guys want story time, we'll do story time. It's up to you guys. We don't have to do story time if you guys don't want to. We can stick to knives or we can go to story time. It's up to you guys. Lacey says story time. All right, story time. So we only have one story time. Oh, we got Todd Carr with the next story time. All right. Okay. Oh, we got one knives, another story time. Okay, don't worry, Jacob. We are going right back to knives right after story time. No worries, brother. We're going right back. So we will do story time pretty quickly. So I'm going to tell a couple stories, petty crimes, some old petty crimes I used to do. So these are pretty petty, and I can speak about them now because they're probably past a certain, I don't know. Yeah, they're past the time. So you have a certain amount of time to, you know, to get caught for something, and then you can kind of talk about it. It doesn't matter. Statute of limitations. Anyways, so these are really petty. Like, these aren't like crimes I was doing like when I was healthy or anything like that. These are more, fueling drug addiction, petty crimes. Right. So one was, if you guys don't know what Backpage is, if you guys don't know what Backpage is a site where prostitutes would get on, right? So prostitutes would post their pages on there, and you could hire a prostitute on there, right? So what we would do is we would get pictures of some really good-looking girls, and we would make a page on Backpage of a very attractive girl. And like I said, guys, I know this is petty as hell, and I know this is bad as hell. I'm admitting I'm the bad guy in this story. Okay, I'm the bad guy. I know. So I always have to make sure I say that I'm the piece of shit in this story. I know. So we would make the page of, and sometimes we would know the girls, so it's pretty easy. Other times, like, depending, we might just take some pictures offline. But in many cases, we might know the girl and just, get her in on it. But anyway, so get the pictures and set up the page, and then within a couple hours of posting it, you're gonna start getting some messages, some calls and shit, right? Wanting a hooker, right? And not far, I lived really close to a hood ass hotel. This hotel I lived by was ghetto as fuck, and was just like a known prostitution area, like very well known prostitution area. So it would be very easy to get anybody, to meet up there for a prostitute, because that's the type of place it is. So we would set it up, and then have these guys would be called a trick, right? The tricks. So the trick, which would be the guy, would show up, and then we would show up, me or my buddy, a guy, and get us some money, and just tell him that that the girl would be in the hotel room, right? So we did this a couple different times, so it depended on how the situation went. So sometimes, you just get the money and just walk the fuck off, right? Done. And other times, it might be a little different. Like, we'd have to say, like that, it was for her protection or whatever, kind of like a pimp, acting like a pimp. But I remember sometimes, like, the guys would call, because they'd have like the number that they just took to you off of, and we'd have the girl talk on the phone. So it'd be pretty easy. But then when he shows up, he has to deal with the guy, and she would the trick would know that, because she would say that, like, you're going to deal with so and so, you're going to give him the money, and then I'll meet you in the hotel room. If we had a girl with us. If not, then we just did it as a dude. But then there would be times, because this hotel, you're pretty much guaranteed every hour an undercover would drive through. You could pretty much be guaranteed an undercover would drive through. So after getting his money, you would tell him, like, there's an undercover outside. We can't, we're just going to have to wait. And there were times, man, the guy would wait there for like 3 hours, and it was kind of sad. I know it's kind of fucked up, but we just end up robbing the guy for $100 or whatever for fucking, he gave me the knife deals this week. Anyways, but yeah, that was one petty ass crime. Other crimes, like petty crimes. Obviously, most people know about like copper crimes and things like that. Especially when copper's up really high, you can get a lot of money for a lot of copper. But we used to get batteries. That was another one. like semi trucks and things like that. You just you get like, if you hit a few trucks in a day, you get so much money. That's why I always tell you guys, if you guys are a trucker, if you guys have a truck, lock your fucking batteries. Those things are worth, like, depending on the size of them, especially if you get those really big ones, they are worth some money. You can go out in one night as, you know, somebody really wanting some money, man. You can get a lot of batteries in a night, bring them right to the scrapyard. If you get a good paying scrapyard, man, you get a lot of money. I had a buddy that got locked up for getting like $80,000 in batteries. He did 3 years. So it's not like it's you know, small time. I mean, you can get a lot of money in batteries. But sounds like easy money. Yeah, you could say that. But one time, I told this story before, but I'll tell it again really quick. So one time I went into a house because this house was getting tore down by a junkyard. Okay. So the junkyard bought the property, house is getting tore down because the junkyard owned the property now. So it's getting tore down, right? So in my eyes, there's a lot about to go to waste if I don't get this. So I knew, because I knew that there was a lot of money in copper in that house. This was an older house. The drains, a lot of the drains were done with copper. And at this time, copper was like, I think it was like $3.50 to $4 a pound. It was high, really, really high. So there was a lot of money in copper in this house, like a lot of money. Like in one night, like it was just a great score. So I went in to get the copper, right? And there was so much that it was going to take me 2 loads, right? I filled an entire van from front to back, completely cram packed with all of it cut up full. That's how much was in this bitch. So much. And you're busting ass to get this stuff too, because you know, you're like doing this in the nighttime, dark, you know, flashlights, shit like that. Anyways. So I got it. I went back to get the second load, and I'm getting this pipe in a bathroom, and $5,000 falls out of the ceiling and hits me in the fucking head, and it just on the ground, and I'm like, what, you know? The crazy thing is that a few months before that, my old man had told me about this. It's crazy, some of the things you don't realize. Like, you know, you think your old man's just talking shit. But my old man had told me that he knew, because we knew the person that previously had lived in this house, right? Had sold it and everything else. But he's like, that guy hid money in the walls, and I guarantee he lost money. Like, and sure as shit, my old man was right. From what I found, at least $5,000. And yeah, it was crazy. Right now it is. That's what it's at right now. $4.46 a pound right now. I mean, it gets high, depending on where you're at. Like the area that I'm at would have been, it pays like the most out of all the places. Like there's people that come from over the border to bring their stuff to this specific scrapyard, and it's the North Chicago one anyways. But that one, it just pays so much. Well, it depends on number one, number two. Like number one would be clean, number two would be dirty. So it just depends. But this stuff would be all number one. Had aluminum wheels stole from me twice this week. Did you? That sucks, man. You want to come pick them up? Or no, I'm just joking. No, yeah. I mean, aluminum is another one that's up there. Stainless steel. Stainless steel's another one. I used to go and get like those like kind of like benches, or I forget what they're called. Kind of like doctor's office benches, or like even places in kitchens. That's a better way to say it. Those the tables that are in kitchens, the stainless steel tables. I used to get those, man. Holy cow, you can get some big bucks for those. One time I got a copper, or no, it was a brass fountain, an entire brass fountain. And when when I showed up with that thing, like, where the hell did you get this? Because it was so much. It was so, like, I can't imagine how much it'd be if you just sold it. Like, and I would have if it wouldn't have been, the way it was. But since I had to chop it up and all that other stuff, but you could still, store all the pieces and everything, so you could definitely tell what it was. But there was a lot of weight in brass, and when you get the prices up on those things, man, like scrappers, you can make a lot of money scrapping if you have, the means. If you can do right, and and I don't mean like the way I was doing. I'm saying like if even if you do right and you're going and buying the scrap from people or picking it up or whatever, we used to make a lot of money a week off of scrap. And in many cases we were buying it, like not a lot, but sometimes, like if we were doing some other work, the people would have a ton of scrap just on their property and be like, hey, we'll get this out of here for you. And it's like, yeah, please. And, you just take it. I got hired one time. And this was hired. I didn't do anything bad here. I got hired by a guy because he was having people just come up and fill their car with stuff for like $20, and I was working for him. And I told him, I said, dude, you're gonna lose thousands of dollars if you do this. And he stopped and he hired me to show him what was worth what and how to separate it. And we separated it all. And he wound up making like $2,000 to $3,000 more than what he would have made just like letting people come and get scrap for $25 a carload. Mike Emler's in the house. Shout out to Mike Emler. Definitely go and follow his channel. All right, Zachariah, take it easy, brother. Sorry, I just seen that. It's a real problem here. Steel bombs ripping out electrical. Yeah, for sure. It's usually the copper piping that gets ripped out, but electrical too. 100%. Yep, it looks like, oh, Mike Emler. But yeah, that'll always be a problem. Anything will always be a problem, right? And anything and everything. In places that are more crime-ridden than others, is going to be more of a problem, right? In areas where you have people that are poor, you have lots of drugs, and you have lots of crime, those places, like one of the towns I used to live in had it was a little town. It was like over 350 homes were vacant in a little ass town. So it was like over 40% of the houses in that town were vacant. That is a very poor town. So when you get to towns like that, where all these houses are open, empty, and everybody who does live there is poor and is about to lose their place too, people get desperate and they're going to do what they got to do. And regardless if that means ripping off the bank that owns that fucking house, like they're not going to care about that bank owning that house. That's probably going to sell that house 10 times. Which I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that that's what's going to happen. It's the outcome of things that happen. Like I got a million petty crimes, like, cause when you're struggling, every day is a petty crime, regardless of like the serious ones. No content on Monday. I'm visiting friends' graves Memorial Day. No problem, brother. No problem. You even heard of dummies turning in utility or drain covers from the road? So here they can't do that. They won't take those. So you can't do that. But at least here. Now you can't. Okay, I spoke wrong. You can if you're a water company. So I always had connections with water companies, so it wasn't a big deal. But if I didn't have connections that I had, we couldn't do that. Like anybody couldn't just walk up with manhole covers and shit. That's why we carry knives, and that is why. Yep, like Detroit. Yes, just click it. See what kind of BS I send you off to. Just put up a link to anything. Just click on that link one time. See what happens with that. Your mic sounds a little tiny. How about now? Bet you it sounds better now. Two locals stole a couple transformers. The first two were not energized. When they chopped the wiring with the axes, the third was live. The X-Swinger was killed instantly, and the second one died 2 days later. Yeah. Most of the time, most of those guys, they know what they're doing most of the time. But there are times, like I remember, not my proudest moments, but one time I was getting a place for copper, and I was in the basement, and so it's kind of stupid how they had this, but so they had the water line coming into the basement, but the shutoff was far away from the where it entered into the basement. I had never seen that before. Like they all come in, they have the cutoff right there. You can shut it off right there. So you shut it off and then you get everything else. You don't touch that one because that goes through the wall to the city, right? This was different. So when you cut it, you couldn't shut the water off. You couldn't shut the water off. This water filled up this entire basement. But when you're desperate, you're desperate. So you're swimming trying to get, you're trying to get it as fast as you can before it fills up, but it's filling up pretty quickly. And yeah, I know that thing got filled up like who knows, right? Until they found it. Just going and going and going and going. Oh man, so much water. Here you can't sell the high-grade aluminum. Central heat and air units are made of. You sell catalytic converters from cars because of all of that. So you can sell them here. It's the palladium that's inside of them. That's what's worth the money. Is the palladium. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's basically platinum, or it's like platinum, and that's why they're worth so much money. We used to get those too. What does that say? Lonely Stacker, thank you for the 5 bones. That's OSHA, where was the protection pyramid? Me. That's OSHA. We're the protection pyramid. Gotcha. Thank you for the donation, Lonely Stacker. I appreciate it. No, I see. I did construction my whole life, so like it was one thing. It was something I knew very well, and just easy scores, I guess, because I guess like when you've done like so many like real bad things, like when you start getting desperate and I'm talking about like beyond like real crimes, and like you're got a drug addiction fueling you and everything. Petty crimes is just like it's day-to-day normal stuff. It's almost like planning stuff goes out. Not I don't want to say that, because you definitely do plan a lot of attacks, but it's like it's always like just like a constant thing of just like the next plan of attack, and it's all just like petty ass fucking crimes, Mike with the 5 bones. I'm out, bro. Have a safe weekend. All right, bro. Take it easy, man. Thank you for the donation. All right. But no, we can fractions of an there's a minute amount of platinum all alongside the roads. Really? Did not know that. When you're jonesing, yeah, even when you're not, like shit, man. I used to do like real bad crimes where, you were never like, I don't even want to talk about the things you did, but like where you were always fine, like you were never jonesing, but that was what was fueling it for sure. So you were always, you know, moving along to the next big score, I guess you could say. But that's what drugs will do to you. especially when you're already like used to doing, negative things, like before drug addiction or anything like that. Even if you were really good to people and everybody was good to you and you had like a system of, people around you and everybody's good to each other and everything, you still know, like, what the deal is. You know what I mean? If you guys know what I'm saying. I know sometimes I speak in a lot of lingo, but I expect certain people will know what I mean. Anyways, let's get back to knife talk. We are past story time. Um, so what the hell? Oh, I did. What time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock. We'll go for like 10 more minutes talking knives. Um, Mike Jernak says you're either high or planning a way to get high. Yes, yes. But when you always got the next big score planned, you pretty much stay fucking high. But yeah, it's not even high at that point. At that point, you're just trying to stay above water, because you're just trying not to get sick, not trying not to die, basically, because it does get like that where it's almost like you need oxygen. It's almost like imagine if you had a watch on your wrist right now, right? Imagine if you had a watch on your wrist, and if that watch runs out of time, you're going to run out of oxygen. And I mean, like, really try to put your mind in that moment and really seriously try that. If you can put your mind there, then might be able to understand the drug addiction, because that's the way it is. When that clock runs out, you're going to run out of oxygen and you're going to fucking die. So that's the way it is. So you're constantly with that feeling of on a clock. And if that, you can't let that clock run out. So you start working on stuff way before that clock runs out. Anyways, 17, got all my knives taken away, and I bought an inexpensive Steel Warrior 440 blade. I EDC it and it's great. I just need to sharpen it, but I also need to get my tools back so I can get to my stones. Yeah, well, that's luckily an easy one to sharpen. So you could do that on aluminum oxide. You can do that. I always recommend diamond for just about everything, but 440C, man, you can do that easily on aluminum oxide. So you can get a cheap aluminum oxide stone for like $10, and you can do that knife easily. Even like at Home Depot, Menards, they all sell those stones. Just a cheap $10 stone from a hardware store. Ace Hardware. Define high: elevation or latitude. Have you seen the Malice button lock? Looks neat. Yeah, we were actually looking at it just a little bit ago. We actually we're looking at this one and the Wii Synergy. And then we were looking at the Malice just a minute ago. They are all for sale right now. So if you guys are wanting to get them, this is under 7 inches. So it doesn't even have a 3-inch blade. It's under a 3-inch blade. It's definitely not very big. That's why I said it's probably the same size as my Kulix. Let me see what the Kulix blade length is. It's got to be under 3 inches. Yep, same exact size as this, which this really isn't too bad. So it's the same size as the Kulix. I can get a full 4-finger grip, so that's dope. Good size. And I'm hoping the detent is as good as this one on the Malice, because I did order one. But I'm trying to save my money for Blade Show, because I do have Blade Show. So that's why I did not get the Synergy, because I want to make sure that I'm not spending that kind of money on I want to try to spend that money on a lot of USA companies at Blade Show, and just companies period. But I'm going to do my best to make out good at Blade Show. I bought a mini malice today. Had to do it. I know what you mean. I did too. I was actually kind of pissed because we sent me this and then all of a sudden that thing dropped. It's like, why the fuck didn't you send me the malice? You send me this? I like this. Don't get me wrong. I like this. But I would have way rather had that malice, especially Fair and Forge design. But that's all right. At least they send me this and then my money, some of my money, because that's a Fair and Forge design. So at least some of the money will go to the Fair and Forge boys. The boys at Fair and Forge. And shout out to Tri-State EDC. Definitely go and follow his channel. He has a vlog of him coming to see me, which I thought it was so funny. It was great. Him coming to see me. We met up at a hotel. If you guys don't know, we met up at a hotel, and it was great, man. Great time. I loved it. Loved every minute of it. And then we went out to eat. Really nice restaurant too. So at least I thought it was a nice restaurant. Nice little bar and restaurant. We had a good time. Class of 99. I almost died kicking never again. H class of 9. Oh, I see. H class of 99. I almost died kicking never again. I hear you, man. I hear you. I've been an outpatient for 2 years, still in and going strong. Good work, guys. Good for you, man. Good for you. That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you, man. That's awesome. Good for you. And there's a lot more of you in here. There's a lot of us in here. I know there is, and everybody should be proud of themselves. You know, kicking habits is a motherfucker. It is a motherfucker. And like for me, the habit was just one part. You know, the lifestyle was a completely another one. You know, and I don't mean like the petty crimes. I mean just Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah. Did you guys get your damage deposit back? What is that? Damage deposit back. I don't know what that is. We met at a hotel after we paid for prostitutes. We didn't receive where. Oh, I see. Yes, we did. We did. Yes, we did. Everything went fine. I mean, it's not like anything happened. So yeah, of course we did. Of course we did. I mean, it's not like couch cushions were flipped or anything like that. So yeah, of course we did. We were very good. The place was nice and clean. That was such a good time. 65 years old and was addicted for 50 plus years. That's tough, man. That is tough. Man, that's tough. The Red Bull spill. He's talking about the Red Bull conundrum. That's hilarious. Yeah, that was a bit of a conundrum. And then I rewatched that part of the video and I noticed you guys couldn't even hear us. Like it was silent the whole time. And we're sitting there talking to you guys, goofing off, and you guys are just like, no sound, dickheads. me, me and Tri-State are, we're cheersing each other and shit. Like, what are you guys doing? You guys look like idiots. Turn the sound back on. The most secure federal prison in the U.S. is in Colorado. You should, if you get a chance, watch that part again, man. I don't know if you rewatched it, but that shit was hilarious. This knife, man. Something else. Listen to that sound. And as far as I know, all of them sound like that. All of them. The one thing though is I notice like if I get it near certain things, I'll pick up things. Like I'll pick up other knives and shit. It's all right though. I don't care. I have been clean a long time and still think about it and heavily miss it from time to time. The feel in the tummy when you're getting ready is something I still crave. Yeah, I think it's good to just crave other things in a better way, and that's very easy to do. You have to get a okay. So you never stop an addiction. Everybody they talk and people say like you got to kick an addiction, you got to stop an addiction. That's not how it works. Nobody has ever stopped an addiction or kicked an addiction. You just change it to something else. Like you have to get your mind to focus and get addicted to something else that's healthier, that's more positive. So you find something else that you can be passionate about and love dearly and enjoy a lot, and something that you might not necessarily get a physical high from, but maybe just a different type of happiness or, self fulfillment out of, and go towards that. And maybe it's stuff that's healthy. Like I went towards stuff like that. Like I started getting addicted to like working out and obviously knives, right, in the community and things like that. But other than that, because I've always really loved knives, but get healthy foods and things like that, and just like really getting into that. Not saying everybody should do that, but there's a lot of different things you can get involved in communities, and plus it's so much more fulfilling. So much more fulfilling. You don't I'm not saying you guys haven't woke up, from after making a dumb knife purchase and kick yourself in the ass, but it's a different type of kicking yourself in the ass. Knives over narcotics every day, every day. For me, running is one thing I replaced it with. There you go. That's it. See, that's a healthy thing. That's great. That's great. As long as you're not running from the cops, it's healthy. I replaced running from the cops to running towards knives. But yeah, so many of us, I think a huge part of the population has, had issues with things like that. Just got to find healthier things. And I think I'm trying to think of the word for it, but what the fuck is it called? Like, I can't even think of the word. I got like a brain fart right now. But basically, society and your the people you're around. I can't even think of the word of what those are called. You want to make sure those are good quality people. When you fill your when everybody around you is shitheads and just like bad people, and not like inherently bad, but the things that they do are bad. And that it's only you're going to wind up you are who you surround yourself with, and that's just the way it is. You are definitely who you surround yourself with. Not saying that I'm not still friends with people and might possibly see them from time to time, but I'm not with them every day. I don't spend my 99.9% of my day with people I used to. And it would be bad if I did, because then I would be right in the same boat. If not, in a different type of boat, just just a little different. Obviously handle your business and take care of shit, but separate yourself from people that'll bring you down, and surround yourself with people that'll build you up and you can make money with, and make money, just period. Dukes of Hazzard with the 5 bones. Top Gun Maverick was offering great movie. Watched it this morning. Nice, nice. Well, thank you. Was an effing great movie. I haven't seen that one, but I will definitely check it out. I remember the original Top Gun. Thank you for the donation, Dukes of Hazzard. I do appreciate the 5 bones. Hey, Jared, look up Headhunter blades, please. They are some amazing self-defense knives. Headhunter blades. Headhunter blades. Let's check them out. Oh, yeah. like this one so far. It's got that little recurve with that spear point. Oh, there's a dagger. It looks like a double-edged dagger too. 550. What are these, trainers? Yep, replacement trainers. I got into a little beef, not beef, I'm obviously joking, but this little schmitty with this guy earlier in the comments. I don't know why I do that to myself sometimes, but sometimes it's fun. He because it was on a short, man. It's on a short video, and there was nothing I didn't say that wasn't accurate in the short, but it was about the Yojumbo, right? And in that short, I basically said that the Yojumbo was designed around like self-defense, that's what it was designed around. And he gets into this whole spiel, like basically talking shit to me. And he goes like this. He goes, and like I felt like he was trying to throw a jab at me, but he basically was saying like a guy learns how to sharpen a knife and suddenly thinks he knows anything about self-defense or something like that. So I just said, I'm guessing you're talking about me. And I said, you don't know anything about me. And then he leaves another, oh, tell me your skills or something like that, or something, or your training. Tell me what your training is. Tell me what your training is. And then I just went on to say like, well, I have been actually attacked by a knife. I've been in knife fights. I've seen people killed. I've seen people shot. I've been, robbed at gunpoint. I am an ex-convict. I've seen all that shit. I've actually been in a real world scenarios with that shit. And I didn't say this part. I wound up saying something afterwards because we went on and on a couple times. It's like, aside from doing construction my whole life and swinging tools accurately since I was a child, aside from that, right? And I said, but it doesn't matter. I said, none of that matters, right? To what the 60-second video was, right? I didn't lie about the video. That's what that Spyderco was made for. I didn't say anything about myself or recommending it, I just said here's a knife. And he's like, obviously, no matter what I said, it didn't matter what I said. I could have said I was a 20-year veteran that taught people knife self-defense. It wouldn't have mattered, right? He's like, ha, just like I thought. You proved me right. Or something like that. Maybe not that exact term. If you guys want to go back and look at it, you guys can. But I was, but to me, it was like, of course, right? Like I said, it wouldn't have mattered what I said. But it's like, what would have been better if I would have said I've trained in a class and never had real world experience? Would that have been better to you? Like if I would have said like, and that's not saying I haven't trained for that shit. Like that's aside from that. And I did say like, yes, I did martial arts and shit, especially when I was younger. I was in martial arts. I was in martial arts for a few years. But like I said in there, I said, but none of that meant anything compared to what I've been through. Like none of that meant anything when it came down to doing shit like in real life, right? Not saying it didn't help. I'm not saying it didn't, because it I probably did. But real life is so much different than training, man. It's so much different. Like it's way different. Like it's so much more unexpected, the things that happen in the situations. And it's just funny though. Like somebody wants to come into my comments and it's like, what do you know? 60 seconds of my voice as of right now. That's all you know about me. 60 seconds of my voice, speaking about a knife that is literally written on their site. So it's not like I'm saying I've trained with it and I'm recommending it to you. I'm telling you, here's a knife, the Spyderco Yojumbo, a knife that was originally designed for self-defense. And I talked about what was good about it. And that was it. It was 60 seconds. But it's like, man, people really get like on another level. And I think it's funny. And I don't blame them. Like, I'm not going to get into all these internet beefs with people about knives. But when you say self-defense knife to somebody, oh man, people go off their hinges. I kind of like it. At this point, I almost want to just do troll videos of self-defense knives, because to me, and I've said this a bunch of times, to me, a knife is a self-defense tool in many, many ways, not necessarily against a human attacker, right? I've told the story about where, I saved myself with a knife, from getting ripped out of a tree by a rope, things like that. And then I've talked about all different kinds of other things, but there's so many different ways that you might, and even just the ease of life, with a knife. But people always go into you attacking somebody or getting attacked by somebody and using a knife to kill them. Not saying that that's not a possibility, or a dog or something like that, but there's so many other factors that a knife could be beneficial for other than a human attacker. But yeah, when you say anything about a self-defense knife on the internet, holy cow, do people come out of the woodworks trying to tell you their education on how they know you know nothing. And I can only imagine what they look like. I can only imagine what they look like and what they're doing, at that moment. You know what I mean? Because it's just like that guy's response after I said that to him, right? A real person would, like I would imagine that somebody who was being genuine would have been like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess then, if you actually have, been in some shit, with knives. So like, if that's where you're coming from, I could see what you mean, because he don't fucking know me. I could have been in 100 stabbings before, for all he knows. He don't know. And I could just make up some shit. I could tell him about my 12 years in Kali or something. Even though I never trained Kali a day in my life. Exactly. Owning a tactical knife isn't a claim of expertise, it's self-defense. Exactly. And I never did in the video. I never claimed any of that. And what if I was, though? He don't fucking know. He don't know. And when it boils down, any knife, not any, a majority of knives can be used just fine in self-defense if you know how to use a tool, right? If you know how to swing a tool and you know how to really hold a tool, you could use it. Obviously, the more you train, the better you are. You're going to be more effective, obviously. But most people aren't running around here 10 years of Kali experience of specifically only bladed object fighting abilities, right? So, and I'll be honest, a majority of those people, I don't care what they knew. In situations I've seen on the street, I don't give a fuck how much training they had. They wouldn't be prepared, for that. Especially when, like, I've seen some crazy shit, man. Right. Anything can be. I remember one time I watched my cousin. We were chasing down these dudes. And this dude pulled out a baseball bat and started swinging it at my cousin. Right. My cousin, no martial arts training whatsoever, not a dime of it. He's gotten into street fights though. He's not a baseball player, not at all. Takes the fucking bat from the guy and then beats the guy's ass with his bat that he attacked him with. Like, and he didn't even know the bat was coming. He didn't know the bat was coming at all. I remember watching my uncle. This was my uncle Kenny. I'm gonna say a name for once. I usually don't say names. And my dad got into a fight with these two guys. They pulled out knives on my dad and my uncle. And my uncle grabs a pipe out of the back of his truck and smacks that fucking knife right out of that dude's hand and then slams him up against a truck. And he's like choking him out with this bar, with like this pipe, because the dude pulled out a knife. My dad was slamming the door of the one guy. The one guy, he was like trying to get in his car or something, or I don't know if he was trying to grab a weapon or what, but he was like, I don't know if he was trying to get out of there or grab a weapon, probably trying to grab a weapon. And my dad and him are fighting. And my dad's got him like in the car, and he's like slamming the door on his like leg and arm and everything, because they're like fighting like kind of in the door and out the door. And the one dude's like right by the front of the hood of the car, pulls out a knife on my uncle. And my uncle goes, "Oh, you want to bring weapons?" And he goes to the back, his truck's right there, just reaches over to the back of his truck, grabs a pipe, says, "All right, motherfucker," starts swinging it like this. Runs up to him, bop, hits that knife right out of his hand and starts beating his ass on the front of the car. Pipe beats knife. Yes. Pipe beat knife, at least in that occasion. Yes. Yeah. Oh God, the rolled up newspaper. And guess what? This was all over Breeze, to be honest. This whole thing. It was all over Breeze. The whole fucking situation. Yeah, pipe will do a lot of damage. Especially when you swing tools for a living. My uncle fucking had swung sledgehammers his whole life, not including regular hammers. He was a tool swinger. So, and a scrappy fucker. So, hot tempered and scrappy. And it was over his nephew. So, of course, he's going to even be, even more rageful. All roads lead to Breeze. All roads lead to Breeze, yeah. Keep a pipe wrench handy. That's a fact. That is a fact, Tim. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Your mind is definitely the best weapon of all, for sure. And, having a little balls too definitely helps, but that goes along with the mind. As it's amazing what some people will turn and run from, and then it's amazing what some people will go straight towards. So I think sometimes there's a lot of situations where yes, you should turn and get away. In many, many times, many cases, but there are times where it is much better for you to just to hit it, head on, and it's probably even safer at times. Was it D2? See, Breeze, you knew that story before he told it. Just don't smoke it. My father got in a fight with another Russian guy about a year after we moved here. The guy picked up a mile marker sign and hit him across the back with it, slicing my dad open from side to side. Yeah. Yeah, those signs, man. That's a lot of those things like that. Like, on the job site, there's so many things that'll cut you open good. And then if somebody deliberately hits you with it, yeah, fuck, man. How old were you when you moved here from Russia, Lacey? How old were you? I remember you made a comment the other day and somebody was like, is she joking? When you were talking about oh man, what's that bomb? You were talking about the bomb. I can't even think of the name of it now. And you getting like superpowers from it or something like that. I thought it was hilarious, and everybody was like, "Is she serious?" And I'm thinking like, she's absolutely serious. She's absolutely serious. 9? You're 9? Okay. Bikers out here in the West carry a ball-peen hammer on their bikes. Yeah. That's a one-hit wonder right there. Hells Angels and Sundowners don't get along. Chernobyl. Yes. Thank you. Chernobyl. Yes. You were speaking about Chernobyl. Yeah. And I remember reading it and I remember thinking like everybody thinks she's joking right now because I knew you were from Russia. You know, I've heard you talk about it a little bit. And I remember thinking like everybody thinks she's joking right now. What's more scary, the guy standing there yelling and screaming, or the guy who is dead quiet and has murder in his eyes? Well, definitely the quiet guy. Usually the guy that's yelling and screaming. Not saying I haven't seen some very dangerous yellers, but usually they're they don't want to say too much. It's kind of like this. I always give this thing about dogs, right? A dog that wants to bite you and is gonna bite you wants you to get near them. They don't want you to run away, right? They want you to be close to them so that they can bite you. A dog that's barking and growling at you wants you to go away. They don't want to have to bite you, right? So usually the guy who's more quiet, now, not saying a yelling guy might not be, you know, he might want you to leave because he doesn't want to have to hurt you. But usually they're pretty quiet because they know they'll hurt you and they're not worried about what you're going to do to them. They have no fear whatsoever about what you're going to do to them, so they're very quiet. And they just know, like, when it comes down to it, they'll hurt you regardless. So what you don't have 3, I thought 4 was an extra one. Or the guys that have never been in a real fight at all. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've gotten into a lot of fights with like big ass dudes that you would think that were super tough, like very, very tough because they were big. But the thing was that everybody was always scared of them, so they never really been in a fight. You know, they were always so big that everybody always cowered from them. Then when they actually had to get into a fight, they realized how unbalanced they are and how they don't know how to move whatsoever. They don't know how to use leverage. They don't know how to stop themselves from falling, you know. And it winds up them being like a fish out of water, you know, because they just, you know, they haven't actually had to throw down, especially with somebody that was willing to hit back or fight back. Because sometimes people, when it's against somebody really big, they already feel like they lost. So then they'll just take the little bit of abuse from the big person really quick, let it get over with so that they don't have to take a too bad of a beating, not knowing that guy really doesn't know how to fight for shit. Not saying I haven't seen some big motherfuckers that know how to throw down too, but I'm just saying, like, I've seen probably more of that than really big guys that can just like really throw down. Don't get me wrong, I've seen that too. I'm 6'4" and 300 pounds about my whole life. And I was a target for a lot of stupid people. I've been cut, stabbed, and I've had to cut and stab people. It made me sick. I hate violence. Same. I hate violence too. I'd rather just get along with everybody and be friends with everybody. But yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like I've also been pretty negative myself, but I've been like involved in a lot of violence that I had no part of, you know, until I was involved. But I've also been the bad guy though, so I'm not going to deny that and, you know, act like I wasn't. Fought 3 guys and got pistol whipped. 6 staples in the back of my head. Still standing, but leaking a lot. Not as easy to fight multiple people. No, it's not. It's definitely not. I've definitely been in that scenario too. No, because you can only fight one at a time. That's the thing. That's why it's good if you're fighting multiple people is to keep moving. Keep moving. Don't stand in one spot and fight one of them. Continue moving while you're fighting them. Make it more difficult, because if you're just standing there, you're a target for three of them while you're fighting one. You're hitting one and you're getting hit by three. So it's good to just keep moving, pulling them around and dragging them. The only fights I've ever won with multiple people went like that. Moving a lot and grabbing them and dragging them a lot, like basically like a lot of wrestling, because standing there and swinging with somebody, you're getting into a hitting contest, and now you're going to get hit a lot, which sometimes in close places, that's how it goes. I got into a fight before, like it was like in a kitchen area with a few people, and I got jumped, and there was a lot of pushing, shoving, breaking shit, but basically using one as like a shield while you're fighting one. And then, once you can get him out of the way, then you can get to the next one and start fighting them, but you're getting hit a lot by the other ones for sure. Social alcohol, drugs, and fall fuels the fire for sure. Always does. And it makes your inhibitions to like realize like what really isn't a threat, and just being cool about stuff. I've been like that, where I've probably gotten hot tempered over something that shouldn't have been a problem, and probably took things to a level it probably shouldn't have been, and it could have been just talked out. It could have been just a conversation, and that was it. And instead you take it to level 10 when it doesn't need to go there. Well, because you're drinking and things like that, and you're numb, so you're not really worried about being hit. It's all about getting up when you're knocked down, for sure. Russian was a wild place. I bet it was. I don't so much different than here. It's literally a different world. I bet it is. I bet it's 100% different. I'm sure there's some areas, especially in certain cities, because like you'll have, and I'm not saying like just alike. I'm just saying like because a lot of the immigrants live there. Like there's places like even here in Chicago, like Russian neighborhoods, and I'm not saying it's like Russia whatsoever. I'm just saying like the people in maybe like the way they move and communicate, because they're from over there. So like just like Chinatown in Chicago, it makes you at least feel like it. I'm not saying it is, but it makes you kind of feel like you're somewhat in China, and in many cases, a lot of them don't even speak English whatsoever. You're in their area. They don't even leave their area. Like that's their area. They rarely leave their area. They have everything they need in that community. Dude, I got that Thai. Woo-wee. The what? The Thai superlative cannibal. I don't know what that is. I can't even pronounce it. Superlative cannibal? I don't know what that is. I can't even think of it. Do I know what you're talking about? Tom says, being 15 and fighting over girls or whatever, I punched someone to impress my future wife. Hey, sometimes you just got to do that. I think that's one of those that it's acceptable, Impressing the future wife is always an acceptable one, Spank you with the 5 bones. My mouth always got me in trouble at the bar, at school, and pretty much everywhere else. Great stuff, Jared. Yeah. Your mouth will do that for sure. And that's what I mean also about like if you're not intoxicated, it's a lot easier to tell like when a situation when you can just like talk your way out of it and it's very easy, But when you're intoxicated, you wind up saying things that you probably shouldn't have. And sometimes you think about it too, like especially the next day when you hear what you said from your friends and you're like, oh, yeah, no shit, no reason why. Yeah, of course I got into a fight. You said what? You said what to his girl? You told him he'd what? The communities are built for them all over the U.S. When you step in their areas, it's like you change countries for the most part. Right, right, for sure, for sure. Saw an Uber toss a I saw an Uber toss a guy out of the car just for littering. They were in Russia. Not just Russians, all nationalists, that is. Siberia, we all depended on one another. We was in a closed city, Norilsk. Due to my father's job, if you didn't live and work there, you wasn't going in. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we take advantage of the freedoms we have here, how we can move. And I'm not saying it's all like that, because I know neighborhoods that not only would you not want to go into, but you also wouldn't be able to go into. There's a lot of neighborhoods like that if you did go into it, you're turning right back around, as you will be stopped very quickly, or you're going to have to stop. And when you do stop, it's not going to be good for you if you're not from that area. Uh, but I know a lot of neighborhoods like that. So, but like what you're talking about is not, yeah. But we take advantage of that shit here. We definitely have a lot of freedoms that a lot of people in other places don't have, and that's why it's so important that we protect that. Best outdoors fixed blade. I'd say the best bang for your buck is going to be a rat knife, rat 6, something like that, depending on what size you're looking for. But they have all the sizes from a rat 3, rat 4, rat 5, rat 6, rat 7, the Jungla or whatever it's called. Those are pretty badass. 1095, and it's USA made. They're very affordable, very very affordable. You can get most of them under, or yeah, most of them under $100. Some of them are a little over $100, but very very affordable. I think the Rat 6, or no, the Rat 4 you can get in like S35 VN. Tim with the 5 bones. Jared, you're the smartest person on knives I know. I take your advice to heart, and I appreciate it, brother. Oh, man, I appreciate the donation and that comment. Even more the comment, man. Thank you. I do appreciate that, man. And I do appreciate the donation. Thank you very much. Yes, 100% protect our rights. We take them for granted, and if we allow them to be taken, we will never get them back. That is fucking facts. It's never like you get any of them back. Like, you couldn't name like very many rights that we've given up that we've ever gotten back. So why ever give them up? Like, to me, it's so mind blowing. And I know most of you guys in here agree with that. I don't think I need to sit here and, scream about it, but we know what's going on. I think we all know that our freedoms are at risk right now, and we have things going on behind the scenes that are happening to us that are beyond a lot of our control. All we can do is stick to our communities and vote right and all that stuff. But there's just things that it's a little bit out of the reach, and there's a lot of manipulation and just so much going on that it's hard to deal with. It really is. But yeah, always vote freedom. And I mean, that's about the best you can do. Obviously, be a part of your communities, teach people in the community, because people need to understand what freedom means. It needs to be like, to me, I remember growing up, man, that was such a powerful word. Maybe we took advantage of it, but I remember that was such a powerful word. Freedom. Now it's like they're trying to demonize it, and that's the worst thing. Can you imagine the reason why everybody in the world wants to come here is now starting to become a toxic word in the very place that it is? That's dangerous. But that's why we need to say it more and more and more and more. If you guys ever see me on Instagram and stuff, I always hashtag freedom. I always say that freedom, right? It's such a powerful thing. And we have to scream it from the rooftops as loud as possible and make it known everywhere that that is our most important thing. It doesn't matter if it's a little tiny inch, a little tiny inch. If it has anything to do with stopping you from doing something, don't let it go. Don't let it go. Because you don't have to like it. You don't have to like it because you don't have to do it. If you don't like it, don't do it. But don't stop somebody else. Check your Instagram DM to see what the superlative is. I will definitely do that. All right, guys, I am going to take off. And yes, freedom. So important, man. So important. Um, most important. Well, the most important thing about this country is that, and we need to protect it by any means necessary. So I love you guys and always choose that no matter what, no matter what. And like I always say, I don't care what else we agree on. We can literally disagree on 99.99% of everything else, and I can still be your best friend as long as we agree on that one thing. If we can't agree on that one thing, then we probably are not going to be friends, to be honest, because that is the one thing that separates everything. Because we can disagree about everything, right? And we can discuss it, negotiate. But if we disagree on that one thing, which is the freedom part, then we have nothing else to talk about, in my opinion, because then we're not even, what are we arguing for then, right? You believe in something that I don't, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for us to negotiate about anything because we're not negotiating for the same thing or the better cause. To me, that's the better cause, is that. So, but yeah, and like if it's anything to do with like the little politics on this and that and blah 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 blah, if we can negotiate and argue with that shit all day long, I'm happy to. I'm happy to hear your side, my side, whatever. But the one thing we have to agree on is freedom, you know. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for all the donations. Shout out to my Patreons. Shout out to all the Bang Gang squad. Like I said earlier, I am gonna at the show, I'm gonna try to pick up something for giveaway for the Patreons. I was gonna do a giveaway beforehand, but I think it'd be better just to pick up something nice. Also, Bang Gang Squad, no live tomorrow. I have too much shit to do, but we will continue with the Bang Gang lives when I get back from Atlanta. For everybody that's going to Atlanta, I will see you guys soon, very soon. And I can't wait to see you guys. It's gonna be such a good time. First one that I've ever been to, and I am so excited. Thank you guys for joining me all night. Thank you guys for all the awesome conversations. I love you guys. Peace.